All right. We're back.
Hello.
We're back. Hey, how's it going? Yo, we have folks in the chat, and yo, we have Drunk 3PO with us today.
Bro, you ain't got
Yo,
no intro. What the heck? You just y'all just hit live. I'm like thinking there's gonna be some kind of like intro and everything. I'm like picking my teeth. That's why I went off camera. I was like, what? Oh, wait, these just went live. I was like,
yeah, I just went
let me
live.
pick
Sorry,
my teeth and get this food out of my teeth. And it's like, nope. No warning, no nothing. That's freaking awesome, man.
We're not as professional as you think we are. I should probably do like an animated intro. Like I
yes,
do animation.
Chat, tell them they need an animated Eggroll podcast intro. Would be freaking awesome.
Yeah,
be freaking awesome.
But yeah, what's it called? I'll probably do one. I'll probably do like a starting one. But anyways, thank you everyone for joining us. This is the big surprise that Jay actually said, "Hey, I would like to be on your the podcast." And I told Grae, and we're like, "Holy shit!" But thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy day to come on to our tiny podcast.
Oh,
I guess
no, man, I love it. So I gotta tell the story. So one night, this is how I found you guys. So this is how you know, like, you never know who's watching. One night, it was really late. I had just finished playing Fortnite with Geeks and Gamers, and I just couldn't sleep. And a lot of times, if my mind is like running, I like to turn on a live stream and just kind of set it near the bed, where I could just sit back and like listen. And it kind of like helps me calm down and like understand. So I literally typed in, this was wild. I typed in, I don't know what movie it was. I either typed in Marvel in the search engine. I think it was Marvel. And I hit live and it scrolled like everyone who was talking about Marvel that day or whatever, like who was live. And there was like 10 channels. And then I came across yours. At the time you were I think you were at like 100, maybe 200 subscribers. There was like 2 people in the chat, and I was like, Eggroll podcast, what the heck? And so I was like, there's no way. I'm thinking it's a cooking show or something, man, So I click on the live stream, and it's like, you guys are talking, and you guys are like talking about stuff that's going on and everything. And I'm going, dude, these guys are awesome. Like, I'm just like loving the vibe. Both of y'all going back and forth, talking. Sharing your thoughts about, I think at the time you were talking about some of the terrible Marvel films, and I was and in my mind I was agreeing with you, and then I just said hi in the chat, and you were like, "Oh my God, Drunk 3PO," and I was like, "Oh man, they know who I am." I was like, "That's pretty wild, man! Like that was pretty wild." So I'm like, I was like, "Dang, I love you guys." Then you showed up in my live stream, and I just started going Eggroll, or like whatever it was, and I think I pulled up your channel on the next Saturday live stream to get you a nice push. But I've been a fan ever since, man. I that's how I found you guys, on a scroll search. So you never know. And I'm not the only, somebody taught me how to do that, because you never know who, like, that's why it's important for YouTubers to title your stream right, tag it, things like that, because you never know, some weirdo like me is just scrolling through YouTube and you just come across. Now look at you guys, man, like 1,000 what is that, 130 subscribers, bro. Congratulations, man. Now it's all about getting your watch time up, to get you monetized. That, dude, I'm so happy for you guys, because like I'd had you guys come on, because I'm on the East Coast, so you guys come on later, which is actually perfect, because usually at this time I'm like settled down. So the first time I listened to you guys, I was almost naked in my bed. So I hope that makes you happy. And and I see some of my friends in the chat too. That's awesome, man. That's awesome you guys are here.
Yeah, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's definitely it's wild, like how fast we grew, especially when you gave us that shout out. We went from like, I think about 100 to like 300 in like a matter of maybe like hours. It was insane. But like, hearing you naked on the bed,
not fully. It's like, can't be fully, because what if a burglar comes in and they see this big naked guy running? Maybe that's a good thing, they'll run away. But
Well, you guys have the
know.
castle doctrine over there, so you should be okay. not like in California. No, California, we gotta let them take the stuff.
Yeah, that's too bad. It's too bad. But it's awesome to see you guys grow. It's what I love the most is like when you guys come into a chat that I'm on a live stream, people just start throwing eggs in the chat. Dude, that's the best marketing for anyone, man. No one can top that. That's why when I'm like talking about my book and people throwing the blue balls in there, I'm like, that is top tier marketing.
Yeah.
Everything is like it's so cool, man. I love it. Like people in the chat, man. Let me see those eggs. We almost got 40 people up in here.
Yeah.
Put those eggs in the chat. I love it. I asked them though before we went live. I was like, you know, the eggs in the chat, that doesn't bother you, does it? I don't want to upset anybody. Or they're like, no, man, it's great. So I was like,
yeah,
such the best marketing ever. And if you're new here from like my tweet or anything, give these guys a sub. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. I love this podcast. It's perfect timing, late night, and they're the most based Asians I know. So you know, I love it. I freaking love it.
Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, the blue balls thing is amazing too, and it's funny. I think we were in one of your live streams, and I think someone threw up the blue ball. You're like, oh, and then everyone started doing it.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
so
amazing.
cool, man. It's so cool. Even when they make jokes, man, it's all good. It's just so cool. You know, it's just so cool.
Yeah, but what's it called again? So tell me, for folks who are in the chat who doesn't know who you are or anything like that, you wanna at least or mind telling us a little bit more about yourself, like what you do and stuff, and
my name is
how'd you get
Jay.
started?
Yeah, no problem. My name is Jay. I started the Drunk 3PO channel several years ago as kind of a joke. Me and some other friends, we had a Star Wars podcast that met Friday nights. That we had 2 people in the chat. We thought it was the greatest thing in the entire planet, and we all had ridiculous Star Wars name, like mine, Drunk 3PO. I don't even drink that much alcohol, but it's just so weird how I put that. And others had just other stupid Star Wars name too, and we just talked about Star Wars on a friend of mine's channel, and somebody was like, Jay, why don't you just go YouTube, man, and make videos and just talk about stuff. It's I think people would like it. And I never thought about it before. And I just said, sounds good. And I just started doing that. It just kind of like, I take a different approach. Like there's others that are that call out a lot of this weirdness that we see that can be very like aggressive and a lot of people like that style. And I'm like a little different because I see some of the stuff just so crazy that it just makes me laugh. It's like, how could you think this is a good idea? And it makes me so I had a little different approach, and I kind of found my community, my wonderful group of people that like to laugh with me. And here we are. Who knew that all those years ago when I started this thing that I would be on the Eggroll podcast, man? What the heck? Unbelievable.
That's awesome, man.
So that's just me. It started Star Wars, and then we just kind of laugh and call out stuff because there's a lot of stuff out there that you're like, what are they thinking? It's like, who makes these decisions for movies and comic books and stuff? It's quite bizarre. So it's quite bizarre, but yeah, here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's an amazing story. But I know that you recently put out an Indiegogo campaign.
Yes.
And would you like to talk more about that?
If you want me to.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, I'll like to hear more.
It's kind of weird because right about the time I started the YouTube channel, I was teaching. I was a 5th grade teacher in like a second chance school, and which was like a lot of students, either whose parents couldn't afford private school, or they got kicked out of public school, or they're just dealing with a lot of problems. They would go to this school, and so they were always looking for like bigger teachers to handle the classroom. So they asked me if I wouldn't mind being a 5th grade teacher. I didn't think I was necessarily going to teach elementary. My degree is in history, but they were like, no problem. I took I took the Florida teachers test and passed all that with flying colors. So I was like, no problem. And so I was a 5th grade teacher, and I just saw the sad state of a lot of 10 and 11-year-old young people. Yeah, that's about the average age for 5th grade, and how they just kind of felt like they had no purpose or value. And I was like, it just for some reason I was out somewhere, and I just had like this vision of like writing a collection of stories with about the characters about the same age, about kids dealing with anxieties and worries and pressures and stuff, but also realizing that they do have value and purpose, and they don't have to be, celebrity superstars to feel like they have value or purpose. And so I just wrote these stories around, and kind of, the way I put it was like the first one. It sets the tone of this world where everybody lives in a world without, like, achromatic means like without color. They just kind of live in a world of just like whatever. And the John, who is the main in this story, discovers the color blue, and it takes him on an adventure, and he discovers purpose and value, and it's cool. So it took a long time, a lot of editing, a lot of writing, and a lot of like just a huge process to get to where we are today. And I wanted the book complete before I sold it. So yeah, so it's like it's done. So once the campaign is over, off to the printers and into the mail, and out it goes. So no, not much waiting on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I first heard that you were coming out with a book, and like the reasons beyond, and the fact that it has 220 pages,
Yeah, it's
right?
a big boy.
Like that's awesome. And as a person who learns visually, I love graphic novels, and this is amazing. And I was we were able to get I think I mentioned I was backer 69. I
Yeah,
was
you
backer
told me that. He's
69.
like, the Eggroll podcast backer 69, baby. Doesn't get much
But
better
yeah,
than that.
that's amazing. But so it's pulled up right now, and we're almost at well, yeah, we're I think yeah, you're not that far from 60,000,
I
which was
know, that is
that's
a
wild.
unbelievable miracle, honestly, because I set the goal at 10. I was like, if I could do 10 the first month, I'll expand it, maybe do another 10, and we'd have something here. And the support, and I see so many people in the chat, and actually Wicked Virtue, she got an early copy, and I wanted her review.
Mhm.
It's been a little overwhelming, how people have just encouraged and supported. And I think too is because there's also a place where you can donate, and a lot of people have emailed me that as well, saying that has been an amazing option, because not everyone is into books like this. It was kind of catered
Mhm.
toward a younger audience, and that's totally cool. And it's not meant to be for everyone, but people are buying the donated one because I think around October, right before Thanksgiving, we're gonna take the donated ones and give them out to young people that can't afford them, or into places that that they wouldn't have it. I just spoke to someone the other day, which is so cool, who gives comic books and stuff to children that are in like a hospice situation, that might not be recovering from cancer
Oh
or
wow.
other disease. Yeah, it's like deep, and they're always they're kids. They like comics, they like toys, they like this, they like that. And so I'm gonna have further conversations with them, and they were asking for books as well. So I'm gonna talk to them. I had teachers in New York, and I posted one on my Twitter about New York, but had one in California as well. That was like, I'd love to have a book for the classroom. So we're gonna see exactly where they go, and I'm gonna try to be as transparent. Obviously, I'd love to like hit the road and film a lot of it, but I'm not gonna film,
Mhm.
children and things like that. But maybe the different places we go, we'll see what happens. We'll see
Mhm.
what happens. But I think it's such a we have an awesome opportunity here to bring a good story to a young person, so they don't, you're not reading like some of the garbage that's being put out there. right now,
Yeah.
or things like that. And holy crap, man, we got 50 people in here. If you guys hit the like button, that's freaking awesome, man. It's freaking
thank you so
awesome.
much, everyone. Yeah, but yeah, this is amazing. I love the mission that like the reasoning why you're doing it. It's such a great thing. Is because hearing about all these books that they're trying to cater to young children, and like I'm extremely against like those type of books, especially seeing some very graphic images on YouTube or even on Twitter. Like it's wild. But yeah, man, we have we have about 9 days left. So everyone in chat, if you haven't already like gone ahead and even like bought a copy or something like that, or back it, or do anything like that, that's great. Go ahead and share it to all your friends and family. I think we need more of these positivity types of books and novels in especially our young children's lives and everyone's lives. But is it cool if I played a video?
Of course.
All right, I just want to.
Achromatic Chronicles Blue is a graphic novel with over 200 pages that is suitable for all ages. Discover how John develops a unique friendship that is wrapped in mystery. And in this friendship takes him on an adventure where he discovers purpose and value in his world. Thank you so much for checking out this campaign, but get it quick because we're only selling this for a limited time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Alan Voss in the chat says copyright claim coming. No, man, that's copyright free music, baby. I pulled that music straight from the YouTube library. Like if you go in the back, they have like a music library. I was like, I want something that if people play it on their streams, nothing will happen. So yeah, so they're good to go, Alan. Don't worry, they are good to go. But man, if you guys keep liking the stream, a couple more, we're almost at 60 viewers. You guys are awesome, man.
That's crazy. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Thank you so much. Once again, thanks, Jay. But Grae, you have any? You want to ask Jay any questions that you may have?
Yeah, he already said the story behind it, so I don't feel there's a point in asking that. So, if this, do you have any plans on making more in the future?
Yes, actually, the original story was like a novel like this big. And when I went to speak to some graphic editors and things like that, everyone kind of said, it would be neat to break this up into 6 separate stories. So there's actually 6 books in all. And it's like we use primary and secondary colors as the title. So it'd be like, achromatic blue. Next one could be achromatic yellow, achromatic Chronicles purple, achromatic Chronicles green. So, but when you read the book, you'll probably know what color will be next and why blue had to be the first one. And and then it all comes together in a complete story of young people finding their purpose, changing the world they are around them, knowing that they are important and that they could do some really cool things, and not have to be like the super celebrity or the best looking or the best at this or the best at that. So like there's 6 books total that could be written, that could be done. And I have like somewhat of the outline finished for like all of them to be converted to a graphic novel. So it just takes time. I just want to get this first one out and see how people like it, how if they like it, if they don't, I'm open to the criticism. I know that's what happens when you put yourself out there. It's all good. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. Some people might not understand it, and we'll see where we are. And if it's overwhelmingly positive, we'll get started on the second one. So it'll be pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to it. That's amazing.
Yes, 6 books is actually that's amazing. It's already planned for 6 books. Yeah, looking forward to it when I get my copy from Phil because it's gonna come all the way here, which is really far.
Yeah,
it'll get there. It'll get there.
That's amazing. So random question. I always wanted to ask, like, because I believe when I first found you on YouTube, I think you're at like 30,000, and I remember you were still using the snowball as your mic. So it was like a while ago, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I always liked you had a very like very calm and very like I like your voice. So I'm like, he's very well spoken. And how did you and like Jeremy meet, and like how did you guys get like part of the? Well, how did you become a part of the Geeks and Gamers group?
Excellent. So there was a reporter by the name of Peter Soretta, and he is I guess the founder of the group Slash Film, and like that's a article. They write a lot of entertainment news articles, and they I was talking about like Star Wars and The Last Jedi, and he just came out attacking me and making fun of my YouTube channel, saying, "Oh, look, he doesn't have any views." And Jeremy, at the time, Jeremy was like this. It was wild because Geeks and Gamers wasn't as big as it was now, but Jeremy was like always the spokesperson for like the nerd that got laughed at, right? Because they had a difference of opinion, or they liked this candidate, or they stood this and it didn't matter like where they stood. He hated when he felt like people were being bullied for no reason for their opinion. So this guy Peter Soretta was like, he kind of was like out of the blue, because what he did was he put a poll up about like Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and like the movies, and the poll was like most people voted that the movie was terrible. And so then he was like, "Oh, well, only trolls voted on this poll." And I was like, I was like, "Hold on a second. No, they didn't. People just don't like the movie." Whatever. And so he got mad. And so then I made a video that had literally like 10 views on it. All right, at the time. And he just went ballistic on Twitter, like, and he was like telling everybody, "Look at this guy. He has no views. How sad, how pathetic." And I'm like, "Holy crap." And he goes, "Everything you said in this video was wrong. Goodbye." And then he blocks me, right?
Oh wow.
I was like,
Wow.
that was like my first string of like serious hate from someone, and I'm going, "Oh my gosh." And like all his whatever followers like came to the video and were like downvoting it and saying all this. So Jeremy was like, "What the heck is going on here? You picking on like a YouTuber, his opinion?" So he sent me a message. He's like, "Hey, I got your back." That's all he said. Didn't say anything else. And he made a video. He destroyed this guy, and people just jumped on my channel. Like it just, the subscriber count went up to 5,000. And it just kind of, it really blew up. And then I had this special little niche that not too many people had at the time, because I live right next door to Disney, and they were building Galaxy's Edge, and I had two people that's really close to me that was working, that was help putting that together here in Orlando, and they were like they would feed me information about what it's going to be like, and I would make videos on it, and I would get attacked over because everyone was like, "This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not how it's going to be." And I'm like, it was such a weird time for my channel because the views were really high. I was doing like 50,000 views, 40,000 views a video with such a small channel, because everybody was curious about Galaxy's Edge. But the comments and the dislike stuff was high, because they're like, "I think this dude's just making stuff up. There's no way." And then little by little, when stuff started to come out that it was true, my channel like picked up quickly. They're like, "Okay, he knows something. Like this guy knows something." And basically all it was like, I had friends that worked there, and I'm like, and they would call me like, "Man, you're not gonna believe the worst video that was on the channel that got like so much hate was, they told me on the phone that Luke and Leia and Han were not going to be in Galaxy's Edge, right?" So I did a video. I was like, "Hey man, I got the news. Like they're not going to be there." And people are like, "You are lying. That's a joke. They would never do that. What stupid company would buy Star Wars and do something like that?" Like, dude, I was getting hammered. And I'm calling my friends. I was like, "Are you sure, man? Because right now they are destroying me." Wasn't long later, they made an announcement. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna just do, Rey and Kylo Ren and nobody else." And I'm like, I made a follow-up video. I'm like, "Where are y'all at now with all your hate, thinking that I was wrong?" So Jeremy saw that, and he was like, "Okay, man," like he had this idea of a theme park channel a long time ago. And so he kind of brought me into, he's like, "I want you to be part of the team. Let's fill you out a little bit, like make a couple of videos for the main channel." for sports wars and stuff. And then eventually we launched Park Hoppin', the theme park channel. So that's how that all worked out. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Like like what you said, like you don't know who's watching, right? So like sort of harking back to my Disney days. I remember like one of our managers will always be like, you don't know who's watching you, right? So like it's like when you're working or whatever you're doing, always try to do your best, always do like go 100% to make sure that like whatever you're doing or whatever, like someone can be someone that's actually going to be there to help you. And it's wild. That's an amazing story. And I know like Jeremy is very like, he goes hard whenever like he's very passionate about a
Him and
subject,
Ryan
right?
are pretty aggressive at times. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're pretty aggressive.
But it's like the whole thing with it's not that they're toxic, it's they're passionate. You know, it's just like the whole Henry Cavill thing. It's just they're really passionate about what they feel and what they say. So I'm glad that it worked out great, and I love the fact that you were able to tell us that story. It's awesome.
It's pretty cool. They've been the best. Some of the like Jeremy's been in my corner ever since. Jeremy, Ryan, everyone over there at Geeks and Gamers, they have been. They just want to see everybody on that team succeed. You know, they want to, and it's like, you know, like even when giving out shout outs, you know, you guys would come in the chat and I would scream Eggroll, you know, and everyone like they throw eggs in the chat and all that stuff. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that would be like, don't ever do that. You know, like this is our channel. Don't shout out anybody. Don't talk about this. There's a lot out there that do that. And you know what? That's their right. That's their channel. That's who they are. But to know like Jeremy is just like and Ryan too, like they're just like they really it really makes them happy to see people succeed that are not afraid to speak their mind and, you know, just be who they are. And so it's pretty cool. You know, it's pretty cool. They get a lot of hate, you know, for some of their takes, but you know, it doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother them one bit. And it's just been awesome to be around. So
that's amazing. Yeah, like I remember I think I first found Gary first. Like, you know, and this is I think this was all back when it was like the whole Game of Thrones stuff, the Last Jedi stuff, and then seeing like everyone sort of like band together, and I'm like, again, I guess everyone has like the same mindset. It's like, hey, it's okay to not like the Last Jedi, because I remember the company that I worked for before, like they brought us to watch the Last Jedi, and and there's several parts in the movie I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
like like the whole thing. One major one that stuck out to me the most was other than the fact that it's the roast Tico stuff, right? So
yeah,
I know roast Tico is like has become a part of your stream, but it's the whole part where they're on that gambling planet, and then it's like
yeah
you know we got, you know, a bunch of these things, these gamblers are like betting, doesn't matter what side you're on, and then it's like, okay, we gotta go, we got to make sure everything's good. And then she's like, no, we got to free those camels, right? Free those camels. Now everything is good. I'm like,
it's so
wild.
Let's just leave like the children in slavery, but at least we'll free the camels that'll probably be caught again as soon as we leave. It's like it's the worst writing ever, man. I don't know, and I don't know how my friend in the chat X-Wing enjoys that film. I really don't. You know. It's really embarrassing, even though he's my friend. I'm embarrassed for him, but it's all good. You know what's funny about Gary? Like, funny story about Gary. I was doing some work in Mexico, and Gary used to live in San Diego, right near the border. And I text him out of the blue because my flight out of San Diego got delayed a day. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I guess I could get a hotel, but I was like, I know Gary lives here. So I had his number. I texted him. I was like, hey, Gary, this is so random, but I'm in San Diego, like, and I need a place to crash for the night. And he's like, dude, I'm coming to get you. So we go. He said he's like, take an Uber to my house. He goes, I'm live streaming, but the door's open, right? Like, help yourself to whatever. So I go over, I get to his house. It's like 10 minutes from where I was at. And I walk in, I could hear him live streaming. and the man has like he doesn't live in this house anymore, but I walk in and there's like 1980s style video arcade room with like all those old arcades, and you're just like, oh my god, you know, it's like, how long has he had these things? And it just like he had like the toys that you've seen his studio with like the toys all around. He had this other room with like all these toys that are still in the box. And I'm like, oh man, if I steal this stuff, he'll never notice. You know, it's like, I just want to steal it. He had like this whole Indiana Jones collection that was like, holy crap. It just was like, it was old. You know, he used to own a comic shop. So I was like, man, I was like holding it. He finished the live stream. He comes out and he gives me a hug. And I'm like, I'm holding this Indiana Jones. He goes, it's nice, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, put it down. I was like, I had to put it down. And so then he's like, are you hungry, Jay? I was like, I'm pretty hungry. I said, I've been in Mexico and like, he goes, what would you like? I was like, I'd really like some pizza. He's like, oh, perfect. He's like, perfect. He goes, I love pizzas. Like, he goes, you want me to just order it? Like, are you good? Like, you can handle my kind of pizza? I was like, of course I can. He goes, I'll get two. So he orders the Gary special and like a plain cheese. And so we go and get it. And as soon as I get in the car with his pizza, I'm like, man, this thing smells terrible. Like, what is this? So we go and we like and his the lovely Miss Nerderotics wasn't there. She was gone away for a couple of days. So it worked out that I was able to stay with him. So we get back to the house and he's like, just try a slice. So open up. This man eats a pizza that is made from like two types of hot sauce.
Oh, wow.
Like this cheese, pineapple, jalapenos, buffalo sauce. It's like literally on fire, right? I open up the lid and it's like the whole thing is on fire. And I'm like, why even bother with the pineapple at this point? You're not going to taste it. So he's like, it just adds a little bit. So I'm trying to like this is Gary, right? This is Nerdrotic. And he opened his home to me. So I'm just trying to be the best guest ever. He's like, here, try a piece. Well, I didn't want to try a piece, but I took it because, you know, I'm not going to be rude. So I take a couple bites and I swear like my ears were bleeding because it was so hot. It was so hot. And he's like, how do you like it? I'm like, it's a little hot. He goes, yeah. He goes, I gotta have it like that. And I'm just like, do you even have taste buds, man? Like what? I couldn't get over it. And so I'm like, this is not gonna be good the next day, if you understand what I'm saying. I was just like, this is unbelievably hot. I couldn't believe he eats that. And he was just like eating it like it was casual on the phone doing his thing. And so people always ask me, they're like, I was like, yeah, I had a Gary special and it almost killed me, but I'm here to tell the tale. So
that's wild. Oh man, like okay. Are you a pineapple on pizza kind of guy?
I can, if someone had it like a pineapple ham and cheese pizza, I could eat it. I wouldn't order it, but if it was in front of me, I'd probably eat it without without gagging or anything. So I don't know how to like, because people are like, do you like it? I'm like, it's not that I don't hate it, but I would never order it. But if someone did and it was there, I would eat it. So
yeah.
Grae, what about you? I don't think
exactly the same. It's like I would never order it out of initiative, but if it's in front of me, it's like, okay, this is what we've got for dinner. Okay, sure, I'll eat it, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to look for it. I'd usually order something else, like all meat, or all cheese, garlic, not pineapple for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm one of those weird ones that do like pineapple on pizza, and I would sometimes go out of my way to order it, but it has to be Hawaiian. Okay, it has to, like either ham or ham, cheese, and pineapple or something like that. But Hawaiian pizza is pretty good. But like I usually tend to lean more into the meat lover style, but sometimes ham is good. But that's I remember.
And I like Little Caesars, man. The worst pizza you could order. I don't know if you have Little Caesars where you guys are at. Yeah. It's kind of trashy, but it's like I don't know what it is. It's like that grease, it just makes it taste so good.
Yeah, I do have to confess. We do order. Me and my wife, we do order from time to time if we don't have time to eat anything else. Go in, get it. You have to eat it right away. If you heat it up the next day,
it's still good. I think if you leave Little Caesars pizza out on the counter in like 5 days, it'll just crawl away like on its own. And you just be like, well, there it goes. You know, whatever's in that stuff.
That's awesome, man. So Grae, you want to? I know you have a couple of other questions that you wanted to ask. Like, I want to make sure that you get your questions in before like I forget or we run out of time. But like, you have any of questions you want to ask Jay?
Grae, are you allowed to say where you're at, or do we not talk about that?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's like I don't think anyone. It's like I'm so far away. That's fine. I am from the Philippines. That's
where
I keep saying
the
like
Philippines, right?
Yep. That's why I keep saying all the time when people ask. It's like,
hey, were you around when that horrible hurricane hit? Like, did that affect your area? Like, what was that like 5 years ago?
We live in a typhoon belt, so typhoons are very, very often.
Oh, typhoon. So you guys call it typhoons? Okay.
Yeah. It comes quite often. Yeah, that one we got hit pretty hard, but I fortunately live in a place where it didn't get hit as hard. It's usually more in the provinces. They're more exposed to that kind of weather. But fortunately, we managed to make it through. So
why do we call it hurricanes? You guys call it typhoons. Is it the way the storm spins, or is it just that's just how it is?
So according to what I know, Grae, you can go ahead, and I think I'll chime in to see if my thoughts are correct. But sorry.
Yeah, I think it's called hurricane because it's more destructive in nature. It's more windy. The typhoon is because it's the rains that are. It's more apparent for the rains. It's just a matter of how intense the windiness is. So it's not really destructive in nature. But because of our infrastructure and how congested some things are and how polluted our country is, it can get destructive because of that.
That's fast. And what is it like winter? Is it spring? Is it fall? Like what season is it there right now in the Philippines?
It's quite simple here. It's like either it's sunny or it's rain.
So that's the season.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've only.
Yeah, when people say
go ahead.
It's spring or it's autumn. It's like, yeah, you have to tell me what month that is because
that's like Florida. It's like summer or winter, and the winter's like 2 weeks, and then it's back to summer again. So.
Yeah, we don't have snow here. It's because we're very tropical.
Do you have coconut trees?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the one thing I miss being in Orlando. When I was in Miami, there was like coconut trees everywhere. We just grab a bunch, and I don't know if you like coconut or not. I do. So
yeah, we do have a coconut snacks or coconut beverages. Okay. And that's what I go for.
I love it. Yeah, he's from the Philippines, everyone. There it is.
Yeah.
The secret's out.
Yeah, everyone knows now. But
they dox you. Everyone's coming to they're gonna come to your address and all the way from America to haggle you. So get ready.
Yeah.
That's a long ass plane ride.
Yeah. That's a long flight. How long is that flight to the Philippines from the States? Have you done that before?
Yeah. I will probably be seeing each other soon in Las Vegas. So I'll be flying there. It's usually it takes a day.
Like 17, 18 hours?
Yeah, because usually with a stopover. Yeah, it's a long ride. It's a long ride. It takes basically the day already.
Oh man, when I used to fly to Beijing, that was like 12 to 14, depending on the tailwind of like how they were going. So like sometimes when I went to China, sometimes going into Beijing, it was like 12, and if like the wind was like nice, we'd almost make it in like 10. But then going back, you're flying into it, or however it worked, it's like 16. You're just like, oh man, that's wild. It's a long time to be on a plane if you've never done it. It's a long time. So
that's cool. Jay, you said that you went over to Beijing. What was the reason why you went over to Beijing?
Yeah, I for several years I led a group of teachers into China, different parts of China, Beijing, Shanghai, just to run English camps for the college college students that were majoring in English. So they wanted like authentic, I guess, whatever, English speakers, like fluent English speakers, so that the students could practice. So they were always wanting teachers to come over there and hang out with the college students while they took us around on tours, different parts of the country. So basically, they were like a tour guide for like 4 or 5 days. It was two of them were assigned to each person. And then what we had to do was, when it was like all done, you kind of graded them a little bit, you know. And we would tell the professor, I was like, oh, they were great, they were this, they were that, I understood everything they said. And then at the end, they had like a big it's kind of funny, it was in Xi'an, the college in Xi'an. They had like this big assembly, like, hey, come meet the fat Americans, you know. It's like, come on and meet the big Americans. And we'd all sit in the assembly, and they set up a microphone for them to ask questions. The first year I did that, because I had a lot of experience getting people from, you know, traveling overseas. I was the guy that they put up on the stage, and there was like 1,000 students there, and they had a microphone on the down you know, on the floor. And so they would ask us questions, and the other teachers were like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, no problem. So it was just me. I'm sitting on a stool with a microphone, and I'm thinking 30 minutes will be done. Man, it's like 4 hours later. Like they were like, okay, you could ask a question. And they were so polite. They lined up in a long line. And I'm going, oh man, it's going to, like, what in the world are they going to ask me? It's so funny because a lot of them asked questions about guns. Like, that was like a big thing, because in that country, you know, it's illegal. You can't have guns or knives or anything like that. So they asked a lot about like it was just so funny. They're like, have you ever been shot? I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, thank you. And it's like, have you ever shot another person? I'm like, no, I haven't. Okay, thank you. I'm like, what kind of questions are these? They were just asking like a lot. They're like, have you ever met the president? I was like, I haven't. They're like, oh, okay, you haven't met the president. But it was simple questions like that, but they had, and it just went on and on. And some of them were really funny. They were just like, why are Americans so big, you know? And I'm like, oh, we eat a lot of cheese. There's no cheese over there in China. I can't find cheese anywhere in China. So it was funny. And so I got to do that 6 times. And after you do it once or twice, it's like, all right, I'm ready. You know, get me a glass of water, get your questions ready. But it was a great time that I was able, you know, to see that country other than through the eyes of the media before all the craziness that came out of it. You know, the last time I was there was a year before the Wuhan stuff. So I was in Shanghai, and it's all changed now. So, you know, it's all changed now. But it was a cool time. It was a cool time.
That's cool. Like, as a Chinese person, I've never once ever gone to China.
I know. It's like, you never been.
Okay.
And I'm like speaking Chinese to Phil. I was like, ni hao ma. And he's just like, yeah, I kind of know that. But it's like,
I've never been. But yeah, like it's funny. It's because like prior to us going live, Jay was asking me, he's like, you never been to China? I'm like, no. It's like, what? So it's just like hearing like, oh, you're from China, like your parents are from China, and like you've never been. And I've always get questions like for me, I've actually never really used chopsticks until I was like probably teenagers. My mom forced me to do it, and he's like, as a Chinese person, you need to learn how to do it. And she sat me down on a table and told me how to, like, she gave me like an etiquette training, like how to eat properly, how to sit properly, how to use chopsticks. And then I'm like, I'm not gonna do that, right? And then she would yell at me. But like, speaking of that, there's one time I was when I was interning at Cartoon Network. And
you hear that, chat? Interning at Cartoon Network. Woo!
So when I was I think this is back in 2013 when I was interning there, and I was on Ben 10. So it was like I think Ben 10 Omniverse, which is the last one. And me and my producers and my production assistant, we all went out to go eat pho. So pho, if you guys don't know what it is like a Vietnamese noodle place. It's like Vietnamese ramen equivalent, basically. and we went, and my manager was white, and my manager is white, and then the production assistant is Hispanic. And then we went, and then they're like, "Hey Phil, can you grab me a chopstick?" And then I was like, "I was like, hey Zeus, do you want chopsticks or fork?" He's like, "Chopsticks." And then I grabbed the fork, and they all broke it, and they looked at me. He's like, "What kind of Asian are you? Why are you using a fork and not chopsticks?" So they're just both gave me the stink eye the entire time, and I was like, okay. So I just grabbed the chopstick and I started using it. But there's some like random stories like these is pretty.
Well, the
it's pretty
worst
funny.
is like some of the things they didn't prep me when you first go over there. So it's like where we stayed, everywhere we went, because like there was like it was like one college that was kind of connected in all these cities, and then we'd get on the bullet train and head to the other city and do the same thing. We were over there for like 2 weeks at a time, like 3 or 4 days with a different college when you go to the next one. But while we were staying in the hotels, they had like American toilets, right? It was like they call it Western style.
Yeah.
So they always put us in a hotel that was like Western. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Had breakfast there, all that stuff. So then we would go out to the museums or anything like that. And it's like, all right, I gotta use the restroom. And it's like that, right? There's a hole in the floor. And I'm just like, thank God, like, it's like you handle your main business in the other toilet, but it's like I'm sitting here like you miss, like you're gonna get it all over. And so and some of the wild stuff is some of the bathrooms in the men. I can't speak for the women's, but for the men's, it was like they had no privacy walls. It was just like, and people just walked up and did their thing, and nobody looked, and then they whatever. So I was like, I walked in, it's like, okay. And I'm looking around and everyone's just like doing all their stuff, like out in the open. I'm like, well, all right. Like when in Rome, oh my God, look who's in the chat. It's Krista Nova is
Krista
here.
Nova.
Holy cow. Look at that.
Hey Krista, how's it going?
Hello.
They're big fans of yours, Krista. But yeah, it was like, so you got to like learn how, you got to know how to target, and like make sure you use the restroom, because it's like there ain't no toilets or like privacy or anything like that. So it was it was that was a learning experience. I felt bad for some of the other Americans that kind of came. Every now and then some of them had like some culture shock, because it was just like the time is so different. So it's like it's almost like if you were Eastern time and you were in Beijing, it was like noon here was midnight there. So it was almost a full 13-hour difference. So, and then you're trying to like maneuver when it's like 3 o'clock there, your body feels like it's 3 a.m., and like I could see them all like getting around 4, and it's like trying to make sure it's like, hey, stay awake. You got to try, because if you keep sleeping like at 1 for 8 hours, then waking up, 4 a.m. China time, it's like your whole trip is going to get wrecked. So it was like we were just trying to do things to keep people awake, and but the bathrooms were kind of shocking. But I will say this is my favorite story from China, and then I'll be done with 75 people watching. It's freaking amazing. Krista Nova in the chat,
crap.
even awesome.
Yeah.
We went to this place called Hot Pot. Do you guys have that in the Philippines, like Hot Pot?
Yep.
So like, and so if you don't know what that is, you walk in and you sit down, and everybody has their own little burner, and you order a bunch of raw food, and then you kind of cook it yourself. So you just kind of like cook it yourself. And we were there having Hot Pot. It was like one of the last days I was there, and there was like 6 Chinamen sitting across from us, and they were like loud and laughing and having a great time. And as soon as we sat down, like one of them was like, "Oh, Americans!" And the first thing he said was, "Y'all think you can drink? Like we can outdrink any American. We can outdrink any." And like the average Chinaman, like in Xi'an, is like 5'3", like 110 pounds. Like they're really small compared to me. I'm 6'4", like 2'7". So I'm big, I'm tall and everything. And so he was just like, "Americans, we cannot." But he wasn't being rude. He was like laughing, and he came over and he put his hand on me. He's like, you can't outdrink Chinese people. Chinese people drink more than Americans. And I'm like, all right, it's time to defend our country, America, right? So me and my other friend Peter, he was with me, and I was like, we got to do this for America. We got to do this. And I'm like, we're drinking for America. You drink for China. And they were like, yeah. And the store owner came by, and the store owner was like, America versus China. It was, dude, it was why I loved it. These people were so nice, man. And so the first round, they brought out these 40s of the Chinese beer. Now, the difference is the Chinese beer is not made with hops. It's like a rice base, right?
Mhm.
So it's like a rice base. So for us Americans, the rice based beer is like water.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just like, we're going, everyone's fine. There were 6 of them, and we're all laughing. They all spoke English, like kind of broken, but we're all just laughing. Everyone's having a good time. They're asking questions, and we're one at another, right? And it's just for a record, so people don't know, like in China, like the food is really cheap. So it's like the
Yes.
Hot Pocket was like $2 American, and the beer is like $1 for like a 40 ounce. It's just really, it's not expensive at all. So we're just drinking, and one by one they're like, America wins. America. It came down, and my friend Pete, he bowed out too, and there's just like all these bottles. And I felt like Indiana Jones, or like what in the, because it came down to like me and these 2 other guys, and I'm feeling fine. It's like I don't even feel it. And we get to like the last one, we bring out the last one, and they're like, we love America. No more for China. We love America. I was like, yes, I did my duty. I did my duty. Like, America. But they were so incredibly grateful. And we just had a great time when we were done. And I picked up a lot of their drinking tab because I had the money. It wasn't expensive.
Mhm.
And we just had a great time that last day. And I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything. And it just goes to prove, like, with all these crazy people that we see on Twitter and stuff, just like throwing so much hate and division and racial tension and hate and all this stuff, it's like, man, if we all just sat down and like had a drink and laughed together, the world would be just such a wonderful, happy place. Even people that
Yeah.
don't drink, you can have water. It's
Yeah.
it would be such a happy place, because I'll just never forget that. Like, we were strangers. They sat down. They were having a great time. They welcomed us, and they wanted to have a competition, and they weren't being rude. They were just being like friendly, and it just was a cool time. It was a cool time, and it's like it would be cool to get back to, and I think a lot of us are in some ways, but like the meetup in Vegas with the FNT is going to be like that. People are going to be just laughing and hanging out, and just it's like people are just so angry nowadays about everything, and it's like life is so short and precious. It's like, let's not just be angry all the time. Let's just sit down and have a drink. And that's like, because I remember we had talked about that before, like when Gina Carano was fired from Disney, she talked about this, like people from Lucasfilm wanted her to apologize to like 40 people because I guess their feelings were hurt by her Twitter. Wow. And they wanted her to do it via Skype. And she was like, I will pay for all of them. Like, I will meet them. I will take every one of them out to dinner. I will buy drinks. She goes, this is how I've always done it. I will apologize to their face. I won't do this, and that. And they said no. And it hurt her. Like, why would you say no to something like that? And it's like, this is just what we're fighting. Like, this ridiculous weirdos, man, that are just angry all the time at anything that we say or do.
Yeah.
You could be canceled for wearing that hat. You could be canceled from being in the Philippines. How dare you wear an orange shirt? I'm offended. Take it off. It's like, it's just like they're just so angry all the time, and it's like, man, they just need to get out and live life. So
Yep.
it's just wild.
Man.
I know that story took a long time. Sorry, chat, but
No,
it's
that's
pretty cool.
It's an amazing story, but it's wild. Like I remember I was responding to someone in one of our videos, and they're just like extremely upset. Like they said that like we didn't understand what we were talking about because we're only reading things on surface level. And I'm just like, in return, I'm just like, look, I think there's too much hate in the world. I think people just need to find an understanding, and it's just like I think just people just need to just stop being so angry all the time. I think that's one thing, and like people are just don't know each other, and they don't understand what people are going through, and just what it's an echo chamber of what they see on Twitter, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
I think like if they were to meet people like face to face, it would be completely different. I think people are just like trapped behind their keyboard, just typing away, not having a care in the world.
Yes, agreed.
Absolutely, agreed.
But yeah. Grae, do you want to add something to that, or
because as Phil, you know, my Vilma shorts took off like crazy, so I mitigate so many comments. There's like, yeah, I agree. If these people just went out more or interacted with people more, they would have a new perspective. Or that sometimes you just spend too much time on the computer that you get too emotional, then you type whatever because it's so easy. It's just behind the keyboard. You get to type whatever absurd things you want to say, which ends up getting blown out of proportion by other people doing the same thing. But sometimes you just need to go out and you calm down. You'll begin to realize a lot of things. Okay, people, there's a world out there. There are actual people who agree, who also have problems, also want to tackle things peacefully and the best way possible. You don't have to say anything radical or stuff like that, which is what I see a lot on Twitter, and which is why we commentate on a lot of these things. Like, you just need to talk to people. That's all that needs to happen for you to feel better, to actually grow as a person, rather than trying to stick to your guns behind your computer without actually seeing the bigger picture. So yeah, definitely agreed.
I agree. And like I said, like I brought that story up of drinking because you're talking about we were, you know, I'm from America, they were from China. Our political beliefs, our religious beliefs, everything was just so different. Yeah, here we were laughing, poking fun, you know, and just hanging out and laughing and drinking to each other. And we ended the day on a giant hug with all of them. And it's like, and that's what it's all about, man. That's what life is all about. So hopefully we just keep calling out these weirdos, you know, that and maybe they'll get the picture, you know. It's like, you know, like some of the stuff they say, they think they're on the right side of history. You know, they think they're on the right side of the culture war. They think they're winning. And like people that call some of this stuff out as the enemy, so they'll just say the most ridiculous thing to try to win. But eventually, like, things begin to change. I remember the term Latinx is like a hated term in the Latin community. And Star Wars put out like a post, I believe around Christmas time, where they were like, we celebrate Latinx with and the Latin community showed up so big on that post that Star Wars took that word out of like 3 or 4 publications. Because they were like, we didn't understand. They literally, this is from the main Twitter account of Star Wars. They were like, we apologize. We take this word out and stuff like that. And it's like, so if more people stood up and told them, like, this is stupid, like, stop doing this, it's see how quickly they change, you know. And I did a whole video on it. I was like, this is unbelievable. These people rallied so hard to say, get that word out of Star Wars. I will never be a part of Star Wars if you use that word. I hate that word. It was made up by some white liberal. We hate that word. Like stop using it. And they responded. They were like, whoa, we thought you liked that word. Sorry, we won't use it again. And it's like, that's how change, you know, like some things happen. So it's wild. It's wild out there.
Yeah. Like with going back to the Gina thing, like when I heard that the first time, I was like, what? It's like, okay, why would you want? It's because they wanted to sort of use it for a publicity thing. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
And if they were to, I'm pretty sure if each and every one of those person that was in that Skype call met Gina in person, they would probably love. I'm pretty sure 100% of them will love her. They don't have to. They're like, she's like, she's not a bad person or anything like that. Why are you trying to make her up to be like this person that says all these things that you feel like it's against what you believe in, right? And
all of her colleagues on the set came out and said that she's awesome. And she was like their favorite person to work with. You know, Juan Carlo and all them. They just said Gina Carano was awesome. So it's like, You know, I don't know. It's a, yeah, I agree. It's some kind of like political statement, you know.
Mhm.
Don't say anything we don't like. We don't want you
Yeah.
around. So,
Yeah.
and we
So-
saw
so-
that too. Like, not I mean, not just Gina, but even that young girl that lost her job with that gaming company.
Yeah, limited
Because-
run. I was about to say.
Yeah, just recently because she was on with Ripa and everything, and she just because she's a conservative, you know, they just fired her, and like and who they followed, and that was because one angry, I guess he's gay or whatever he was just angry with her, and he was like, look who she follows, look who, and they were going through her liked post, look at the stuff she liked, and they're like, yeah, we fired her, you know, and
Yeah.
it was like, wow, that's insane, man. That's freaking insane. So
Yeah, there was one time I was messaging this guy. Well, I was replying to one of his tweets because like he was like showing his before and after workouts, right? I'm like, cool. You know, I've been skinny my entire life. I want to see how I was. How did he bulk up? And he was like, oh, I used tonal. I asked, was your entire workout tonal, just tonal? And he's like, yes. And like, cool, you know, like that's awesome. Thank you so much for replying. And then I get a reply to me, said that, check out this guy. He's following all these conservative person, and he has an American flag in his bio. I'm like, what? I'm like, yep, typical person. And of course, like, oh, you're following these conservative groups, and then like you're following, you know, libs of TikTok, and you're following all these people. Do not listen to this person. And then I'm like, what the heck is happening? I'm just commenting on this guy's workout. It's wild. Yeah, these Twitter people are they need to go out and kick rocks or touch grass.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
Wow.
Like, I didn't say anything, right? I'm like, okay, sure.
Sometimes there's nothing to say. It's like they unmask themselves as like weirdos, you know, and you're like, well, thanks, buddy. Thanks for showing us who you really are. You know, it's wild to me. It's the hypocrisy that some of these people are running is. It's like, I can't believe they believe this stuff. You know, but like people like the Star Wars company, Lucasfilm, who caters to this type of group, they're finding out so quickly that these people don't have any money. Like they just they don't fund any of the projects. They don't buy Riva lightsabers. Disney Plus lost $2.8 billion on their streaming. The only thing streaming that was supposed to keep people there was Star Wars, was a big part of it. And it's like they built a hotel around a group of characters that nobody likes because they've surrounded themselves with these group of people that are like, yeah, Rey's the best. They're the best. We love them. And they're like, okay, see, these people like them. So let's build this stuff so they'll come. But then they realize, well, these people are broke. You know, they just sit on Twitter all day. Like they don't really spend money on anything. They just complain on Twitter or TikTok all day because that's all they got. And so now Bob Iger has come out just a few days ago and was like, we're gonna take our time with Star Wars now and kind of cut back on a lot of that. So it's like, yeah, that's code word for like we're panicking because we're not making any money here and we got to figure this out, you know. So you know, I mean, just like the Marvel movies that have come out. I don't know if you like them or not, but I'm one of the few people that really liked the first two Ant-Man films. I really did. I liked Ant-Man as a character in the comic books, and I hated how they treated him in this third one. I just thought was terrible. It just wasn't Ant-Man to me because Ant-Man in the comics, like when he grows large, like it could kill him. That's why he doesn't grow large. That's why he grows small. Because he's Ant. He's not Giant Man. He's Ant-Man. And they just kept using that as an excuse to, you know, get him to fight and stuff. It's like if all he had to do was grow large all the time to save the day, he could just do that, you know, make it easy. But the reason why he doesn't do it in the comic books is because it will kill him. So it's like, but they made it so lazy that they just do it. Oh man, I wanted to love Ant-Man Quantumania. And it really was sad for me to see how bad like Marvel has fallen. So I don't know how you guys feel about the films or anything, but that was just me.
Yeah, I think I've I think the night of the release, I think it's like a Thursday or a Friday of the day of the release, I guess someone posted the ending fight on YouTube before I got taken down. So I'm like, I'm not
him
gonna
and
watch this
Kang?
movie. Yeah, the Kang stuff.
Yeah.
And then so I watched it. I'm like, this is so stupid. I am not a dick. Like that's that's how he becomes. He turns into Luke because of that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching this. And the thing is, like going back to the what's it called again, the whole Disney Plus thing. Like I was there when they were talking about it, right? We had a big town hall, and I can talk about this since it's already out, right? Like the whole thing with the Disney buyout, and we're like, okay,
wait,
Fox
so you
next.
you were part of Fox?
Yes, I was part of Fox.
And then this is when Disney's getting ready to buy Fox.
Correct.
So you had a town hall with all the employees. My understanding that okay.
Yeah. So we had a town hall with like with one of our like executive producers, and he's like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna be redundant departments will be absorbed or they're gonna be let go. And we're gonna be going up, we're gonna be absorbed under Kevin Mayer, which is he's the direct to consumer person. And we're going to be working with them, and we're going to be making this really like badass app we're going to nickname it the Netflix Killer. And then I'm like, yeah, right. So and then they're like, so what's going to happen is that if you didn't know, the amount of money that's made by all theme parks, including Disney Tokyo Sea, which I know is I don't think they own the entire Disney Tokyo Sea. I think it's owned by another company.
Yes.
So all the money that every single theme park makes is equivalent to 1 month of revenue from Netflix. For 1 year, it's equals to 1 month. So that's how much money they made. So they're like, we need to fight this. We need to make sure that we can, be good. And this is what we're gonna pour all our money into. So once we got absorbed by Disney, they're like, I think we were part of Disney for like 9 months, and they ended up selling us. And just hearing about all of this kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, like how are you going to beat Netflix? You're charging a lot of these things, and then hearing that, oh, we're bringing in all these like old school cartoons, Simpsons and X-Men, Spider-Man, it's all going to be coming back. And for me, I'm just like, it's well, first of all, it's nothing like what's new about this? And when they launched, they're like, Mulan, $30 on top of your subscription. I'm like, no one's going to pay for that. But holy crap, we hit over 100 likes. That's insane.
That's what's up, insane. Man. That's awesome.
Thank you everyone.
Chat is always MVP, baby.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. But yeah, it's wild, like hearing about all of these things, and it's just, and the thing is that Mulan was like one of my favorite ones, and like they completely ruined that movie, and I sort of just never liked anything that came directly to Disney Plus. I'm like, I don't care about.
You know how many jokes there could be said about that Mulan is your favorite? Because I mean, I'm not gonna say it out loud, but
we talk about it too.
It's my favorite because I'm Chinese. But it's so funny is because I just like it, and it's I think
it was a good story.
I believe Grae, I think you're like part Chinese as well, right? You mentioned.
Yeah, in terms of ethnicity, I'm pure. It's just that I was born here in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I didn't have a good Mandarin education, so my Mandarin is terrible too.
What languages do you speak?
English is my main, then Filipino, then a little bit of Chinese Fukian, and a tiny bit of Chinese Mandarin.
All right. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Mine was Aladdin. Yeah, like I don't know. Jay, did you like any of the Disney like live action adaptations at all?
I never saw the Lion King one because the Lion King was so good to me. I felt like I didn't want it to be ruined. I did see the Aladdin one with Will Smith, and there was one scene, I don't know why. There was one scene in that film, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like terrible or anything. I didn't love it like I did the original The original Aladdin was like, that might be my absolute favorite of the classic Disney films. I actually like The Little Mermaid too, like when that came out, but The Lion King was so cool. I didn't want to ruin it, but when the Aladdin one came out and Will Smith there was one scene, I don't know why it made me laugh, where he shows up in this giant afro and he's dancing. That I don't know what it was. I just died laughing. It just looks so ridiculously stupid. I couldn't stop laughing at that scene. And you know, I don't know if you guys know me. When I start giggling, I can't stop. And for some reason, that's just like, that was the only thing I can really remember from that movie. It's just like that giant afro Will Smith. The rest of it was all right. The Beauty and the Beast one, Gaston is like my favorite villain. I just love the Gaston character. I think it I don't know, I just like that toxic male, funny. I can't read, but I'm really strong. Like, I think it was kind of funny. I didn't hate that one either. It was different, but I went into them not expecting them to be like the cartoons that I loved. You know what I mean? But like after Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, like I didn't want to see the Lion King because I was like, I and then the Little Mermaid's coming, and I'm like, I have zero interest to see the Little Mermaid, or anything like. And then the Peter Pan one, they just released the teaser trailer. I don't have Disney Plus, so I won't be able to see that one. But it's just I've kind of like, I gave it a shot, and then it's like it's just recycled material with adding their little thing. I am so I am so ready right now for something new, and I'm like I'm excited like to build on my own world, you know, where because everything to me, we're in this weird phase where the writers that they hire don't write anything good. Everything is being recycled, and everything is nostalgia. Everything is like built on nostalgia based, and it's like it's ran its course with me personally. So it's like it's the same old thing. Let's add a nostalgia feature so it might attract people to come. And I think they squeeze that lemon so hard that they can't get any juice out of the nostalgia stuff anymore. And now they're kind of screwed. I saw 65 with Adam Driver on Thursday. And no spoilers, I promise. I have a review up, but it is literally Adam Driver with a gun, like shooting dinosaurs. And I loved it because it was just different from all the other stuff they just keep throwing at us. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I just wanted a dumb, fun movie. I also really loved Avatar. I'm no, you know, for whatever reason, I thought Avatar was amazing. But I just want, and the story wasn't amazing in Avatar, but it was like, we finally got something that's like different than the nostalgia stuff over and over and spin-off after spin-off. I like Andor is a spin-off of a spin-off from A New Hope, you know? So it's like everything is Rogue One is a spin-off from that, and then they did Andor. It's like they have no creativity anymore. There's nothing new. And it's all like, let's just rehash the same thing, like Peter Pan and Wendy. It's like, okay, we've seen Peter Pan a million times. Can you give us something different? Well, we're going to change all the characters around and give you Lost Girls instead of Lost Boys. I'm like, I'm out. I have no interest. You know, it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is coming back, but April and Neil, everyone's different. I'm like, can you just give us something new? I'm out. Like I at this point, it's just like, I'm out because I know the Turtles. I've seen enough of it. I'm good. You know, Indiana Jones is coming out. I'm like, let him rest, man. Like, let Indiana Jones rest. I'm kind of like, I don't know what to think of it. I hope it's the greatest movie of all time because I love Indy, but it's like I'm kind of out. And Twirly Wolf in the chat just mentioned they just released a teaser trailer for the Grease prequel. And I'm just like, why? Make something new. Like, what are you doing? I'm out. I have no interest at all. And I'm not trying to be negative because I'm usually really positive. I just want something like, I actually like Creed 3 came out too. I actually like Creed 3 a lot, even though Stallone wasn't in it. But it was like, can you make something new? That's why I think I like 65 so much with Adam Driver, because it wasn't like, holy crap, everyone needs to watch this or anything. It just was something different that finally, you know, like, oh my goodness. So that's just me on the whole thing.
Yeah, man, it's wild. Like I think it's especially for Disney. Like,
wait, did you have any workings with Avatar when you were at Fox?
No, I had a really close friend that did. He was a costume set dresser before he quit.
Did he have like a? Does he have like a button from one of the costumes I could buy off of him? I'd love to have it.
He's in Korea now. Like he got married and moved to Korea. But he was working on. But he was on Avatar 2 and 3. He said like he showed me, and this was back in 2018. He showed me a screenshot of like he said that you got it. He's like Avatar 2 looks so good, man. And he's like, look, I'm not supposed to show you this. He brought out his phone. He showed like a scene where they're like it's like a night scene, but it's like there's like water on their faces. And I was like it's like you saw Endgame, right? You know how good Thanos looked. I'm like, this is 10 times better. I'm like, really? Like the phone does not do it justice. So since we're both at Fox, he was like, he showed it to me. I'm like, this looks great, and he was like super excited, and he said that Sigourney Weaver was a nightmare to work with. Yeah, and he was like, I was on set and hearing her, and then just because I don't know, I'm not sure what they did with the final because I didn't watch Avatar 2, but he said what he told me was she got reincarnated into a Na'vi.
Yeah,
but she was younger.
Yeah, she played a teenager.
And they're like, okay, so they're like, Sigourney, we're gonna have to lighten your voice to sound like a teenager because it won't fit the body. And she's like, no, my voice is iconic. That Na'vi has to have my voice because I'm Sigourney Weaver. And it's like, people won't know if it's me. And then and she falls in love with another character, right? And she falls in love.
She's like best friends with a human.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah.
So she and he's like, yeah, and the reason why they didn't bring back Michelle Rodriguez because she was really hard to work with, so they just never brought her back. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I would go to the Manhattan beach. They had like this 3-story building where they did the whole diving simulation, where like it's like a 3-story like pool where they would dive and they would like have like crazy like films and make sure there's no bubbles when they're diving. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm quitting. I'm done. I'm like, wait, why? What? And he's like, I'm done. Like, it's like I don't want to work for James Cameron anymore. So he just quit.
I heard James Cameron can be he can be rough around the edges too, you know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I imagine anyone successful is somewhat behind the scenes. They're difficult to work with. At least that's my take.
Yeah,
that's what I think too. It's like if he's difficult to work with and he has all these like highbrow people, it's like he could handle it because he'd just be like, shut up, you know, and he's like, you're gonna do what I tell you to do. So
well, good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like we're like with all these things, like Disney is like, I think anyone in Hollywood's like running out of ideas, and they're just like regurgitating a lot of these member berries, right? And I remember I took a this is Rise of the TMNT, the one that came out on Nickelodeon, and in like 2016 I did a character design test for them, and then they're like, these are the characters, and I'm like, the first thing I was like, Black April O'Neil. I was like, sure, I guess, because I saw it like before it went like live, right? And then they're like, okay, Raph is gonna be the main character. He's gonna be a leader now because everyone likes Raph. And then Leo is gonna have one sword and subs too. And then I'm like, you're changing all these characters, like, you know, like Mikey's not gonna have a nunchuck anymore. I'm like, oh no, don't do that. Like, I think the show did pretty well. It's because the animation was really good. And the character designer was really good, but he was like a comic book artist. I think he was like Andy Suriano. Like, he did the character designs. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how people are going to feel about this, and the character design's sort of off. And now I had a feeling that if they were going to do it, they're going to continue moving on with like let's make them, you know, race swap these characters. Let's you know, put identity politics into these like IPs that you're so in love in. You know, they're probably going to reboot, like, I don't know, like all these other things that you know, Captain Planet, but that's pretty damn diverse already. So I'm not sure what else they're gonna do, right? But it's wild, man.
They need to hire some people that know how to write stories. I think though what we'll see is like a renaissance explosion of creativity, and like smaller studios and stuff are gonna set up. And stuff like that. So gonna be pretty wild.
Yeah, man. Like wild. It's crazy, especially like working. Like I sort of work, I guess you say, like the circle that I'm in, like I'm really sort of close to like the entertainment business, right? Like one of the person that was in chat, like Dave, like we had him on. like he's he used to work on Rick and Morty, and now he's over at Bento with Bob's Burgers, and like I know I see a lot of people like oh, we're hiring a background painter, but you have to be this specific race in order to get hired. I'm like, what's going on? Why can't we hire people with merit? And a lot of these people are in our group, which is the millennials, that grew up, just grew up just weak, weak men. It creates hard times, and it's just right now that leaks into our media, our entertainment, and I'm just like done with it, and that's the reason why I do want to just watch. Can you just make new stuff, right?
Yeah. That's all we kind of ask for, right? At this point, it's like make something new.
Yeah,
because
it's
like we're like over it. So
and that's the reason why your book is like one of the what you're doing, what Epic Verse and what Ripa's doing, like creating your own stuff like that's huge. And that's the reason why I always want to do my best, and our like Grae included, like we want to make sure that we support these type of things. It's like, oh, if you don't like Twitter, make your own Twitter. If you don't like this, do your own stuff. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do our own stuff. And then all of a sudden we're getting all these like backlash or vitriol, like, oh, haha, you're doing all these things and it's not going to be as good as ours.
It's wild.
Right.
It's wild, man. It's wild. These people will never be satisfied. They'll never be satisfied because they're miserable that they can't do or be creative or anything. And eventually they're going to be left high and dry when we all have just said we're done with it. Like I know many people after Mando season 2 just literally said, I'm done with Star Wars. And we don't even fight with people on Twitter anymore about it. We just like, it's yours, have it. And they're doing all these crazy stuff with it. And it's like, they have no viewerships. They have nothing. So it's like, and eventually it's just going to roll over to everything they do. They keep pushing this stuff and people keep yelling. It's like, we're going to make our own thing and we're going to stay over here. So y'all have it. It's yours. We're not even fighting with you anymore. Go ahead. It's good luck, and eventually the people like us that have all the money that work, that don't spend 24 hours on Twitter, the companies are going to be like, can you guys come back, please? It's like, no, we made our own world over here. So we're going to invest this in here. It's like you lost me as a customer and as a promoter and everything else, with our social media. So it's like they're going to be stuck. So the day is coming sooner than later. I really believe it, because we saw Netflix, I believe late last year or earlier this year, they fired like a ton of people, and literally every story and person they fired, a lot of it was like woke movies and stuff like that. Like they got rid of a lot of that stuff. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's like you eventually it comes around, man. Like, it comes around. So it's wild.
Yeah, I was actually thinking this week, I finally was able to articulate it into words why I don't like Star Wars as much as many other people. I think it's because, shows like The Mandalorian, I keep telling Phil, this is so average at best for me. Mandalorian is so average. I even like Andor a lot better because it makes the effort to go deeper compared to Mandalorian. It's like, the reason why I think I couldn't get into Star Wars as many as other people do, it's because whenever I see a Star Wars movie or a Star Wars TV show, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels so surface level for me. It feels so shallow compared to the supposed lore or rich universe behind the books. It's like I feel that there's so much more that the movies can translate in the books compared to what they're doing now. That's why I can't connect Star Wars as much. At least that's what I
agree. I agree completely.
Yeah, it's like, example, this latest Mandalorian episode, right? It's like, it's like they're always framing it like, oh, you're so special, you're gonna save the world. Like it boils down to that. It's always that. It's like, that's good, but I want to go deeper, like similar to how Andor did, like the life of the regular person, like how scary the Empire is. I want more of that. I agree.
They just don't want to. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I agree with you. It's like, why don't they don't want to do that for some reason. It's wild. So
Like, weren't they gonna do like a I don't know, or it's just probably maybe like just wishful thinking. Like, I thought they were gonna do some kind of like Knights of the Old Republic thing. Like, if they're gonna adapt that into like a show, that would have been pretty cool.
they announced so much stuff and then they canceled so much stuff. It's like, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Wow.
crazy. So it's just like, these are companies that don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're just throwing stuff out there and hoping that it sticks. It's none of it is rewatchable content. It's
Mhm.
just content. You know, it's like movies used to be really cool because if you really liked the film, you'd want to watch it again and again and then learn more about the story. Now it's just like, it's just content. You don't even go back and watch. That goes from Marvel on Disney Plus too. It's just like, nobody goes back and watches those shows. There's nothing to it, But like Infinity War, I watched. God, I can still watch that today, and it still holds up. It's awesome. And some of the other stories, movies in that time period, but it's like now it's like, Spider-Man. I think the last Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield and Toby, I could watch that a lot. That was just a lucky, they got all the actors back and they made it work. So
Oh yeah,
just one of
yeah,
those things.
yeah. I definitely enjoyed that. Like for me, I remember I mentioned this before, and then X-Wing was like, "I hate you." was I told him I didn't watch Star Wars until I was an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, and I got most of the gist of the Star Wars stuff before watching Star Wars from the Family Guy stuff. Right. So then I watched Star Wars. I'm like, this is actually it still holds up. The original trilogy. I enjoy it. It's a good entertaining movie. And it's of course the lightsaber fights are like, for me, it was a little slow, but like I understand the technical aspects they have to go through back when they filmed it. Right. So I'm like, okay, it's still really good, still really interesting. And then I remember working at because I worked on Star Tours at Disneyland, right? So I was on Finding Nemo as a ride operator, and then went to Star Tours, and then working there, like I can see how many people love Star Wars, like
Mm-hmm.
especially like old, and you see people who are like, that are probably the Generation X, like who are a little bit older than me, and they're like they will come in with their kids, and their eyes are all, glowing, and it's like, oh, there's Admiral Akbar, and there's, 3PO's right over there, and there's R2D2,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like and then like I like a lot of the older stuff, and then when I heard that they were gonna do Galaxy's Edge, and during this time I already quit Disney, and then I was like, hey, I was talking to my friend who still works there, and he's like, hey, I want to grab lunch with you, and it's like, oh, you want to go into the park? I'm like, okay, sure. So I went to Galaxy's Edge. I'm like, this looks cool. I went on, but it doesn't have that same feel, like that magic. I feel like ever since like a lot of the new Disney stuff that's been coming out, all the magic is gone. Like whenever I would go, even when I worked there back in 08, I'm like, okay, I can still feel the magic, but maybe back in like, I don't know, I think ever since Disney acquired Star Wars and Marvel, like I felt like the magic has completely disappeared.
Yeah, because it's a corporation now. It's not a creator that's running it.
Yeah.
So they just look at everything on paper and see what's bringing in. Not really worried about story or anything. Is it making money? Yeah. Okay. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
So,
man. It's crazy. But so what's it called again? Would you be I know that Grae is going to be coming here during April. I think you mentioned that you were 50-50 on appearing at the Vegas meetup.
Yeah. Maybe 60-40 that I'll be there.
Okay.
So I'm trying to work out the schedule and make sure everything works perfectly. And then I'll know for sure sooner than later. So if I'm going to be there or not, but I'd love to go. I'd love to meet everybody. I'd love to see everybody. So it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, man, that'll be awesome. But it's gonna be amazing to meet everyone, since like you like I mentioned over and over again. I think the fact that like when you first popped up in our chat and said hi, or like, hey, I'm just like, that's a fake account right there.
We need. I need Project Eggroll t-shirts, man. Project, put the Eggroll podcast. That's what we need.
Yeah,
I could wear that. That'd be awesome.
I can definitely probably design something we'll see. But if people are interested, yeah, like I'll go ahead and make some of
You
them.
never
Like
know
my wife
unless
is
you
also an
make it.
artist too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can ask her. But yeah, man.
No, this has been great, man. I appreciate the invite. I loved it. It's been a long time coming. You guys just keep doing what you're doing and like don't stop. And YouTube is a weird place. Sometimes you have great months, sometimes you have terrible months. You just keep going through the motions, and it you know, it'll come through. You know, it'll come through. It'll come together. So it's all good, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, new goal 65.
65K.
Let's
get to 60 first, and then we'll see.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up again, and so I believe mods. We only have one mod actually, or I think I also made you a mod as well. But you can kind of drop the link for the Indiegogo. I know it's also pinned down at the bottom in the description. But check out Achromatic Chronicles Blue. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on this book. I think I think is one thing is definitely needed for kids to just start being kids again and just reading this and feel like they belong in the world. And you know the world's better when you're in it. Like may it be you disagree or have arguments or whatever, but I think this is one of those things like we need in the world. And thank you so much, Jay, for having this and creating this this book. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thanks again.
Man, thank you so much, man. It's been an awesome run. Thank you for letting me use your platform to promote the book. I really appreciate it. I'm like losing my voice. It's like been streaming all day, so it's one of those things. So I hope everyone that was new here enjoyed. I guess we're gonna wind it down, huh? And it's I hope you guys enjoy the Eggroll podcast. It's great channel. Great channel here.
Yeah. But once again, thank you so much. Grae, do you have any other questions you want to ask Jay before he dips? I know that he was live streaming earlier today, and then so like I believe he's gonna hop onto the over.
I'm gonna get on
Flashcast for a bit. So do you have any other questions before he drops out?
No, I believe I think all my questions were already answered during the podcast. So I'm good. I'm good.
That's fantastic. All right, then I'm gonna skip out. You guys close the show, man, and say hi to the chat and do your thing.
All right.
I appreciate y'all for inviting me, man. Nothing but Eggroll. I love it.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
Thank you.
Hey, man, to the moon and back, and hopefully I'll see you in Vegas, and we can hang out. And like, you know, this is not an Asian thing. I'm saying we usually all go get ramen after it's done. So, you know, but that would be freaking awesome. That'd be freaking awesome. So I want a shirt and I want a picture with the Eggroll podcast in Vegas. That'd be excellent. Yeah, absolutely excellent. So
all right, thank you so much again, Jay, for taking your time out of your busy day, stopping by. Yeah, we really appreciate it. And thanks so much. All right, and everyone in the chat, go ahead and follow, subscribe, all that kind of stuff for Jay. It's all should be
follow and subscribe to this channel. These are all my friends in here. You subscribe, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And I'm out. I love y'all.
All right. Cool. Yo, that was wild, man. But thank you so much. Thank you. I know that what's it called again? Jay is he's been basically streaming the entire day, and like he was on earlier playing games on Twitch and stuff. But yeah, go ahead and if you guys want to dip and drop on over to Flashcast, he will be over there. I'll go ahead and drop that link into the description probably. So for you guys who want to switch on over to Flashcast, let's see. Yeah, so he will be over there. So where is he? Let's go ahead and I believe he just started. So he just what's it called again? Yellow Flash just started. He's still going through his 20-minute intro. So go ahead and check out Flashcast. Drunk will be over there. He just started, so it's perfect. So because I know that Saturdays Jay is usually on Flashcast, and I like the fact that he says that it's okay. I'll drop by anyways, and the fact that he was so nice and he stopped on by to have a chat with us. That's really nice. So I believe Anna, that Star Wars girl is over there as well. So But yeah, thank you guys so much. All right, Grae, we're probably, let's go ahead and maybe talk for a little bit more, maybe like another 30 minutes. Is that cool with you?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're tired, and then we can call it early.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, we got some episodes to talk about, or unless there's articles I want to talk about. I think those are more interesting. If you do.
Yeah. Let's talk about a couple of articles, and then we can do the episode stuff. Next stream is because I did not get a chance to watch any of them.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
Mandalorian, it's so average for me. I don't know what chat thinks, but
really?
it's so average. It's nothing special, honestly.
Yeah. But thanks everyone. I know there's a bunch of questions that was asked. I know most of the chat was here for Jay, and thank you guys so much for we reached over 100 likes, which is wild, and this is probably the highest view count,
viewership too.
Yeah, I think we got up to like 75 or something like that. But thank you guys so much. And I know it's late on the East Coast, and I know Dawn said that she's gonna be dropping out. She's super tired, so thank you so much. Have a great night, Dawn. But yeah, so there's a thing that I believe I sent it to you earlier this week, right? It was yes, yeah, we're gonna talk about this for a little bit, and then and I believe we'll talk about a couple of articles that I do want to bring up, but yeah, man. So you said that you were able to watch Mandalorian. I haven't watched it yet. Did you say that it was very mid? It's like very like mid to you?
Yeah. It's like I don't. Yeah, it's like yeah. So the premise for season 3, right? It's like Din, forgot his surname, but Din has to bathe in the waters of Mandalore so that he could become a Mandalorian again, for simply because he removed his helmet. Yeah, so apparently he already got to bathe in this incoming episode, but it's like yeah, I was expecting that was the premise of the entire season, or at least half of it, but apparently the next episode he already gets to bathe.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of fast tracked it. So it's basically just Din finding the place, Old Mandalore, tracking down Old Mandalore, reaching the ruin. Then it's Bo-Katan basically saving his ass twice. Bo-Katan saves him twice.
The female had to save him.
She saves him twice. But that's basically it. That's why I couldn't say much about this episode 3. It's like, he finds the lost city. He gets ensnared by the species there. Then after Bo-Katan saves him, when he's bathing, he gets pulled down by a monster, so she saves him again. Then that's basically episode 2 of Mandalorian. Yeah, I don't. That's all. I don't know. That I feel Andor is a lot better in terms of story, even though Andor didn't do well. I think it's actually what we needed. It's just that when Andor released, people were so fed up with Star Wars. It's like, forget it. I don't want to watch anymore. Disney Star Wars stuff.
Drunk says 4 thumbs down. Sorry, Av haters. Yo, that don't worry about that.
Don't worry. I have experience with thumbs downs.
Yeah, it's only 4, but no worries. You are a joy to talk to. Thank you so much for popping by. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. So now, coming from a person who plays who likes The Witcher 3, who likes Henry Cavill and stuff like that, let's go ahead and let's talk about this article really quick. So there's some Fandom Wire, and it was like 5 days ago. So the Witcher showrunner Lauren Hisrich found Henry Cavill really annoying due to his over enthusiasm to play Geralt. Before I continue reading, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, it's like the moment I read, when you showed me that, you don't deserve to be the showrunner at all.
No,
get out. Find someone else has to lead the helm, and someone's actually passionate about the Witcher series. Like, I don't even consider myself hardcore, even though I finished the 3rd game twice. It's like there are people who really, really love this franchise, and they deserve to be in that role, not you. Go find another show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but before we continue with the article, this is a question for you. I never saw Andor. Question for you, Grae. If it was the same story but swapped with Han Solo, would it feel right?
Do you mean Andor or do you mean Mandalorian? Yeah. But either way, I didn't even watch the Han Solo movie. I heard it wasn't good though. I didn't even I didn't even bother to try to see it. The one with Emilia Clarke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if did you watch that one, Solo? Han.
Yeah, I did. I fell asleep the first time.
Oh yeah, okay. That's all. That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
I don't think it would have helped either way because like Mandalorian is like your typical Star Wars movie. Like when I mentioned earlier when Jay was here, it's like I feel it's so surface level. It's like there's so much to dig in the Star Wars literature, the Star Wars universe. Yet they always choose that. Oh, you're the special one. You're gonna kill all the bad guys. You're gonna save the galaxy. It's always that. It's like you can go deeper than that. It's like you can go with the different species that weren't tackled before, the interstellar politics. There's so many things you can do with the Star Wars IP that they choose not to. They always go surface level. That's why, probably not. If it was Han Solo, it's like it won't change a thing.
Yeah, Solo was not great. I think how they came up with Han Solo's name is stupid. And it's like basically he I think he was like running from because he's like basically running trying to escape, right? And he's trying to register himself as like a different person. And he's like, "What's your name?" Han. He's like, "What's your last name?" It's like, "I don't know." "Well, you're by yourself. Let's call you Solo." I'm like, "Oh my god, dude." Oh my god. Dude. Oh my god. It was bad. Like when I saw that, I was like, yeah, and that's like early in the movie too. It's maybe like 20 minutes in. I'm just like, yeah, this is already a bad start. But all right, let's go ahead and continue going on with this article. Henry Cavill's role as Geralt of Rivia in The Witcher was immensely praised by critics, and video game enthusiasts loved the actor's performance as he adapted himself to the role, bringing out the depth and complexity of the character. It was a shock when to the fans when it was announced that the actor will not return to the series, and Liam Hemsworth would be the new Geralt of Rivia. Man, it was a shock because Enola Holmes' actor played the role flawlessly. So basically, Enola Holmes is Sherlock Holmes's like was it niece or some shit? I remember that one.
I know it didn't do well, right?
The first one is okay. I didn't watch the second one. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, owing to his dedication to playing a role, many filmmakers love to work with the actor, but it turns out that Henry Cavill did not want to take any chances of missing out on The Witcher, constantly asking his agents to arrange a meeting with the program creator Lauren Schmidt Hisrich. The thing is that wait, what's wrong with that? Right? If you're trying to stay true to the source material, and you're trying to stay true to the actual like games, I see no problems with this at all. Right? It's like, do you want the character to be like spot on? Do you want the character to look like the character? Hey, that's he looks and sounds exactly like the Witcher that I know. So it's just like, what the heck? I don't know, man. Like, it's like he's passionate about this project. I'm getting pissed just reading this article.
Yeah, exactly. I actually did when you sent me that link. It's like I just read the title. I watched Yellow Flash. I think someone made a video out of this too. It's like I watched the video. It's like I'm not gonna read this. I'll just let someone read it for me. It's like yeah. It's like I don't know. It's kind of disgusting. It's like this is such a good IP too. It's like there's so much to it. Like here's this person who's really really enthusiastic in making it great, and then you simply reject him because you wanted to insert your identity politics. Yeah, it's kind of upsetting. It's kind of upsetting for someone who likes The Witcher.
Yeah, it sucks. The first season was good. The second season sucked. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about the third season now. Henry is a massive fan of the video games. When it was announced that the video game adaptation of the Witcher TV series would take place, the actor nagged his agents to set up a meeting with Lauren Hisrich to lobby for the role of Geralt of Rivia. However, she turned down the agents of the actor for a meeting because she was yet to write the script for the TV series. he basically is like, oh my god, I love this, I want to be him, right? That's awesome.
Mhm.
You have a person who is like super into the video game and super into the lore. That's a perfect person for you to cast. However, the actor continued to pester his agents for a meeting, and after repeated attempts, the program creator agreed to sit down for a meeting as he was really annoying and told the actor that she has to write the script of the show. I will meet with you. The show will not greenlit. There's nothing. Thank you. Now I have to go write the show. Oh, it's because now she's like, great. Now I have to work. Now I
Yeah, and I don't know, the fact that she openly admitted this says a lot about her character, in my opinion. It's like, why would you say, at least if you're gonna say someone is annoying, I disclose the details of that person. At least that's
yeah.
what on a professional level. I mean, if you work, oh, this person is annoying, this person's irritating. It's like, I wouldn't say that.
Mhm.
It's like, even though if it's for real, that's how I really felt. I wouldn't, at least I wouldn't disclose their identity. Oh, I had this co-worker, Coley was, she
Mhm.
did this, she did. I wouldn't disclose their identity and make them look bad about it. Yeah, this says a lot about her. Yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
irritated.
Yeah, it's sort of annoying. Hiswich wrote the script for the show over the following months and auditioned 206 actors for the lead role. As she continued working on the script, she realized that Henry Cavill is the right man for the role because he was well aware of the source material. During an interview with Vulture, the actor confirmed that he was urging his agents to get him the role as he was not going to miss out on the series. It was something that I wasn't going to let pass me by without giving it my best shot. I annoyed my agents all the time. They said they're not ready. It was evident that the actor was immensely dedicated to the role as he was extremely trained to achieve the physique necessary for the role. Cavill even worked on his sword fighting skills rather than using a stunt double for the fight scenes. Yeah, that's why it looks so good, right? And I love the fact that there are actually actors who's like, okay, I want to actually do the legwork. I actually want to learn how to do martial arts, learn how to, get buff, get ripped, get fat, or whatever it is, right? People who are like really, really dedicated, not like method acting like Jim Carrey, but like, what's it called again? In I forgot, is it The Machinist with Christian Bale? He lost a shit ton of weight, right, to play that part. And then later on, he went to go play Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins, and he gained like 80 pounds for that role. Like, I like those type of actors, right? Keanu Reeves learned how to shoot properly, trained with Taran Butler, right, and learned how to shoot for John Wick. I like that. I don't like any of these like you got to give him props that he actually wants to do that. It's like, oh, I don't want any stunt double to do my work. See, Henry Cavill will be the part of another video game adaptation. Right? Henry Cavill loves to play games and was so close to missing out on the role of Superman because he was playing World of Warcraft. Oh, I love him even more.
Yeah.
That's awesome. As per Giant Freaking Robot, the actor is getting ready for the role of Captain Pierce in the Call of Duty movie. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Call of Duty movie?
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing
coming up
until that came up.
Wow. However, if there isn't much information about the movie, currently the actor is busy shooting Warhammer project with Amazon. There was an attempt to make the movie up of a popular game series in 2015 when the game had peaked popularity. There were plans for the series of movies and TV series based on the games. However, nothing came into existence after then. But rumors continue to exist. If made correctly, the movie and TV series would be massive hit like The Last of Us. Oh man, so dude, just give that man what he wants, man. If you have a person who's passionate about the job, that likes the job, it's not considered a job for them, and they will go extra hard on like working on it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I'm excited for what do you call this? Warhammer.
Yeah, me too.
He's
like,
directing it.
Like I know it's going to Amazon, and like Amazon has like a 50-50 chance of it being, but the fact that he's also a producer on it, it's going to be really nice.
Yeah, he has a say now. Yeah, he has influence on how the show will turn out. So I'm pretty confident because he really likes Warhammer too. And I've played some Warhammer RTS back in the day. I've played the first.
Oh wow! I've never played any of that, and I know there's like a tabletop like game version of it, right?
Yeah,
like
it's also huge. It's a rich universe too, like kind of like Star Wars. Yeah.
Let's see. See how Let's see. This is from Alan. How long do you think you guys think it will be before Superman curse gets Cavill? What do you mean by Superman curse? What do you mean by that? Let's see. Let's see. Yep, it's from Sids. Henry Cavill is a national treasure. Absolutely. I don't think we deserve him, dude. Like the fact that he is such a diehard fan of stuff that he wants to do. The fact that he was playing so much video games he almost missed an audition. That's pretty funny. I think that's hilarious. And he actually like the fact that like it was during COVID where he was like, I'm going to build this PC. And then he built it, and then he's like, and he wasn't even talking, and it was just him and his muscular arms building a PC, and it got like over millions of views. And like that goes to show like how much, like I would say Henry Cavill is one, like I mentioned before, he's one of those actors that has the caliber that people will just go watch a movie because he's in it. Like he's of that right now, right? And the thing is that he doesn't shit on the fans, and he does not. He actually, the stuff that he works in, he goes like pretty hard in, right? And that's the reason why when they sort of ask them as well, they're not hiring him back as what's it called again, Superman. It sort of sucks. Like in my opinion, I hate it. I hate it, right? But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to what's it called again, watching Warhammer. And if there's a Call of Duty movie that he's going to be main character, you betcha I'm going to be watching that as well, right? Let's see. Jaden, he stood up for fans when the interviewer tried to brand him as toxic. Yeah, I love that. It's like, oh, they're not toxic, they're more passionate. Passionate, right?
You played that clip before.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, everyone who's played Superman either ends up dead or crippled or never being cast in other roles. I don't think so. I think I don't think I think fans really like him enough where they, like, let's say showrunners don't like him is because he's so passionate in his role, is because he might be hard to work with, right? He might try to change the script up. He might try and say, like, hey, this character is actually not like this in the video game, so I'm going to do it this way, right? And a lot of times when you have these creatives in Hollywood, like either a show writer or a creative director or a cinematographer or director, right? A lot of them have a vision that they want to put. But the thing is, with that vision comes if you have a person who is like telling you, hey, I think Superman's supposed to be like this. I think this person is supposed to be, oh, he will never do this. Why is that in the movie? Right? Especially if this person is very, very passionate about this project, you're going to have that type of person. But the thing is that ultimately the final product will show how good it is. And that's the reason why season 1 of Witcher was the best season out of all of them. Right. So I don't think that he will. Hopefully he doesn't die, because you have Christopher Reeves, who was horseback riding, and then like the horse knocked him off, and then he got crippled, and then you have what's it called again, Brandon Ruth, whatever his name is, who plays Superman. That he's what he was in Scott Pilgrim, right, as a supporting character. And then he played Superman and Adam in CW Flash. So he was able to get some jobs here and there. But I would say Henry Cavill is way bigger than Brandon, in my opinion. He's way bigger. Let's see. Do you guys like Godzilla? I heard they will have a King Kong show on Disney Plus. It's a kiss of death for Kong. Ooh. I don't know. Grae, did you watch the battle of the whatever King Kong versus Godzilla, the newest one?
I watched the trailer, but I never ended up watching the movie. Is it good?
The human stuff is garbage. Like always, the human shit's garbage. The fights were good. The fights between Godzilla and King Kong were good. There's a rematch, and then they brought in I know the other ones, like the other stuff is actually, I like all the human aspect of those like Godzilla stuff movies. Like the human stuff is garbage.
Yeah, it's just for filler. Yeah, it's just for filler.
Yeah. Yeah, you hope that the Superman curse never hits Cavill. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like,
I get the feeling that Warhammer is gonna be bigger than what it is because of Henry Cavill, because of the show he will be releasing. Because Warhammer is very targeted. The people who usually like those are those who buy the figurines and the board games, which can be very very expensive. But if once the TV series comes out, it becomes mainstream, it's gonna be a lot bigger. So I see a future with Henry Cavill there.
Yeah, and I love Henry Cavill. I think the first time I saw him in Superman, like, okay, granted, I know everyone has their, like, they either love Man of Steel or hate it. I loved it, other than the fact that he killed God at the end. Like, I liked it. I liked it more dark and grounded, but everyone's like, that's not Superman. He wasn't a symbol of hope. I liked it. I liked the speed and the effects that Zack Snyder was able to do and accomplish for Superman. And I hope moving forward we use that same style, because I want to see, like, the fact that how fast Superman is. I love those effects as an artist. Yeah, Brandon Routh was an Arrow. Yeah, he was also an Arrow. Yeah, he was he played I forgot his actual character's name, as his alias or alter ego. But yeah, he played Adam. I guess I did actually watch a little bit of Arrow, and I watched like the first like half, like the half of the series for Flash until they got super woke and stopped watching it. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, these directors have a vision, but what is a vision without commitment and the source material? To be honest, a lot of these people don't care anymore. I think the fact that they have a big enough name, for instance, I would say The Last of Us season 2 could absolutely be dog shit. Like, even worse than some of the episodes that we did not like. It could be absolutely garbage, and people will still watch it. Is because it pulled them in already. It got the normies. It already hooked them.
Yeah, I'm not even excited with the last episode anymore. Are you, Phil? I'll review it because I'll review it just to wrap it up. Just I'm gonna talk about a little bit about it's a good video game adaptation, sure, but does that translate to a good TV show? That remains to be contested, in my opinion. Yeah,
true.
That's my take.
Yeah, give us monsters. Yeah, like the best part of Godzilla, the first one with Bryan Cranston, and freaking he dies in the first 5 minutes. Was the actual fight scenes, right? Like, and the thing is that you weren't able to see Godzilla fighting any of the creatures until the end, is because they spent all their money hiring Bryan Cranston. But the second one was when he fought King Ghidorah, which was pretty cool. Like like I said, the whole monster scenes is the best. But no one cares about the human shit. Like, who cares? Just I want some cool shit. Do we have a locals page? I have no idea what that is. What Grae, do you know what that is? Do you know what locals?
Discord is the closest thing.
It's locals. What is that? If the chat wants us to make a locals, we'll make one. Right?
Yeah.
Like we do. We do upload. We do mirror upload all our stuff onto Rumble as well.
Yeah, but if we mean by interaction, we have a Discord page. We actually want people to chime in the Discord page. I've seen Lost Tales been putting it in the comment section, so thank you. That's the closest thing we have. But if there's other platforms you want us to create, we'll do it.
It's like, you guys should be on Truth Social with Donald Trump. Oh shit! But we don't have an actual like Project Eggroll official like Twitter account. Like, we have separate Twitter accounts. So like if you guys want to just follow like Project Eggroll and stuff like that, let us know and we'll go ahead and make one.
Yeah.
See, Henry Cavill supposedly gonna be the new Highlander. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. There can only be one. I'm down for that. I thought Brandon Routh was good in Superman Returns, even though it was a crappy movie. I think it was good. I think that the fact that what made it good is he looks sort of like Christopher Reeves when he was in the outfit. Like, I remember watching it. Like,
yeah, me too, a long time ago. Yeah, kinda.
Yeah,
but I think is this the Superman where there wasn't a single fight scene?
I forgot. It's the one with Kevin Spacey.
I don't. I remember watching one Superman movie. There was absolutely zero fight scene. There wasn't a single fight scene. I forgot which one it was, but it's one of the newer ones.
Okay, it might be this one, because I remember there was a scene where like Superman lands on the top of the building and they're shooting him with like a machine gun, and it's like, and then you see like a slow motion of like the bullet going into his eyes, and it goes pink, and it just bounces off his eyes.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I think that, but yeah, I found it so. This is a superhero movie, but not a single fight scene. Like, anyway, yeah.
Let's see. The Last Wish, the first Witcher book came out the year I was born, 34 years ago. God damn. Damn, that's So I'm gonna be 35 this year. So yeah, so that book was like, it's like there's source material. Why aren't they using the source material? I don't know. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna add in all these new characters. We're gonna change the actual lore, with a Blood Origin. We're gonna change all these things and make them look trash. I don't know.
Yeah,
it makes me upset, especially as like a gamer, or like people who enjoy like comics and stuff like that, and like nerdy stuff. Whenever they change stuff up, it just pisses us off. It's just like, dude, why? If the change makes sense, then it's fine. But if the change is like, oh, we're just gonna switch up this character from white to black, that's because it's modern times. It's like that doesn't really help, unless it's like, oh, we're gonna add in all these other shit that no one cares about. Like I hope they don't do that. Let's see. Twitter sucks. Yes, it does. Imagine we went on Truth Social and imagine Trump saying, Project Eggroll, you know them. Those guys are terrific. They're Asian with a podcast named Eggroll. It's genius, I tell you. It's genius. Nothing is better than Eggroll. That'd be freaking hilarious. Like, we can have AI. Wasn't there like AI voice generator?
Yeah. It's like Jeremy was talking about it like in his live. I kept laughing when he showed the Trump, Obama, and Biden playing Mario Party. It's so funny.
Those are so funny, dude.
Yeah.
Like I watched them. I watched them doing one where I think it was on TikTok. I was watching it was like Obama, Trump, and Biden. They were playing Fortnite, right?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
That one is they're like jumping. I was like, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go over here and we're gonna do this. Trump, get your ass in here. We're gonna do it. It's like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be the best. I'm gonna make the biggest fort. It's gonna be the best fort. And it's like, where the hell is Sleepy Joe? He's like, hey, how do I open the menu? It's so good. It's so good. I love it. Let's see. No, they made too many Highlander crap Highlander movies. So here's the thing. I understand that they made a lot of crappy Highlander movies, but it only takes one for them to make a good one, for them to sort of revise everything. It's like, oh shit, it's back. It's actually good, right? And in my opinion, like that's what they're thinking of doing with Mortal Kombat. Like, I love the original Mortal Kombat movie one, the one with Robin Shao, right? With Carrie, forgot the basically the OG one, right? But the thing is that the reason why it was good is because of the music. So the new one, it was like, oh, we're gonna have super hard R. It's gonna change it. But for me, like it started off good and it sucked. So I hope, like, if they are gonna be rebooting all of these things, making it new, I just hope it's good. I think overall, we just hope it's good. Make one for sure, so I can tell weebs and waifus you beat them too. I mod for them. Oh wait, so for locals. Yeah, we can. Well, yeah, you're talking about locals, right? Yeah, I don't mind doing a locals. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so this one. Have you guys been monetized on YouTube? No. So, as of right now, we have reached past the milestone for subscriber count. We can actually do. The only thing that we're missing is watched hours. So we need 4,000 watched hours, and I believe we're about, like, last time I checked, we're like 1,100 watched hours or something.
Yeah.
Or you need 90 million views on a short. No, was it 90 million or 10? No, 10 million views?
10 million views on a short within 90 days, which is absurd. It is really absurd.
Yeah, which is crazy. And that's how YouTube is really, really trying to tackle the TikTok thing, right? But yeah, you can actually do it if you want. Like only Lost Tales only if you want. Like, you can do that. Like, it's if you want, you can do it. But like we can do it on our end as well. Let's see. He made a good Clark Kent like Christopher Reeves. Yeah, for Brandon, right? Yeah, Brandon made a good Clark Kent. He just wasn't a good Superman, in my opinion. Yeah, you can do them yourself. Just work on a Trump voice. Yeah. See, Crowbar Crass IRLs, great seeing you guys. I like the Highlander series. Yeah, like we mentioned, if to be honest, anything that Henry Cavill's in, I think people are just gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I think
He has that reputation and recognition at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking about Twitter. Okay. Sorry. All right. Let's see. All right, let's go talk about this one. This might be the last one we might be talking about. Let's go check this out. So this is from Bounding in the Comics. So Grae, did you see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like I guess like a reboot, like another reboot of it?
Yeah. I'll be honest. I have little exposure to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I did see the old April versus this new one. So yeah.
Yeah. So
I've seen the old one.
I grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I never like got the comics. Like I know the comics were actually like a lot darker, but like I started watching it in like the early 90s when they had the cartoons, and my dad would buy me like toys, and like I had like I think I had like a toy or like a piggy bank of one of them, and I had like bed sheets. Like my dad knew that I really like turtles. And for me, I always found that like April O'Neil, okay, she said she had a yellow jumpsuit kind of thing, and then like she was like a redhead, and like I just liked them. But like growing up, and then the live action movie came out, and then I liked the first two, right? The regular one, Secret of the Ooze. I think the one where they went back in time in Japan, sort of weird. And then they also made a TV show about it. So it was like pretty normalized to me. And then seeing them like, and then they made like a bunch of Nickelodeon shows and different movies here and there was pretty cool, right? But the thing is that with this, I guess Seth Rogen's like super pissed off now. Is because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles producer Seth Rogen says that if the media critics knew how much negative criticisms how much negative criticisms hurt the people that made the things, they would second guess the way they write. So he basically says that do not criticize our show, do not criticize what we make, because people's feelings are hurt.
Yeah, and this is for you guys made a drastic change. Like you definitely should expect some backlash from that, right? It's like if you're gonna change something fundamentally, expect some. So there are people who are not gonna like it. That's it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, in the opinion of the TMNT Turtles Mutant Mayhem producer Seth Rogen, critics could stand to be a little bit more kind when reviewing any given piece of entertainment. So here's the thing: as an artist, we were trained in college to learn how to take critiques, right? Is because majority of the time things are moving so fast, people don't have time for you to make shitty stuff. If you're gonna get critiqued, like hey, this doesn't look good, you need to change this. Hey, it would be better if this looked like this. Change this, and you should change that. And the thing is, like I'm not sure if he's considered himself a comedian, but he's considered a comedic actor. Maybe he hasn't gotten any critiques like this before, and this is the first time he's gotten like backlash. And like you're supposed to make things that are appealing towards people, and if you make a character that's fat, short, and ugly, no one's gonna like or buy that character's toy, right? And this is meant to sell toys, right? And no one's gonna buy April. People are gonna buy all the turtles. No one's gonna buy April. Man, let's see. The Canadian-born Hollywood star offered his thoughts on the current state of media reviews during a recent appearance in the 227th episode of the British entrepreneur Stephen Bartlett's interview-based podcast, The Diary of a CEO. Asked by the most recent investor to join the cast of the reality show Dragon's Den, the original UK version of the Americans known as Shark Tank, if he ever suffered a self-doubt regarding his work, Rogen asserted, in general, from my experience, I would say that applies to creative people's self-doubt. Right? Basically, that's how he sounds like. Whenever you say do an impression of Joe Rogan, I mean not Joe Rogan, Seth Rogen, everyone's like, oh man. For me, it comes in waves. You make a thing everyone likes, it gets a little better. You make a thing that everyone hates, it gets a little worse. And that's a part of what doing what I do. The invincible voice actor continued. It's funny. I was saying to someone I work with the other day, I'm at the point in my career where not a lot of people who are in position to yell at me in my job, but the New York Times will publish an entire article saying I suck at my job. And so like, that's like a trade-off. I've worked my way up and not having to deal with much personal conflict, face-to-face conflict, but I will have a cultural institution tell me that I suck. And I will add self-doubt and things like that. For me, it's something that that's present, but I try not to let it stop me from doing the things I think that are interesting and the things that I would like enjoy watching. Pressed further by Bartlett as to whether or not such criticisms have ever hurt him specifically, the Rogan exclaimed, "Yeah, it hurts everyone." Yeah, the thing is that if you are so butthurt over critics giving you reviews, yeah, you should get into a different line of job, dude. You're
Yeah,
working in a creative
exactly.
field, right?
Exactly.
And the thing is that everyone has art is subjective, right? I mean, you can like it or you hate it. It's a critique. But the thing is that if your thing is unanimously hated, then that means you're doing something wrong,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So if you go onto Rotten Tomatoes and you see that the critics is giving you 100% and then the audience is like 8%, you're like, oh, I don't care about the audience's score, right? But that means that you're not going to get your stuff. So you have to find a fine line between specific things that you want to push and specific things that you think that are good and you can get away, right? I know that in Hollywood, in order for you to even get nominated for an Oscar now or an award, you have to have 50% of your people who are working on a project needs to be a part of the LGBTQ and has to be a person of color. It's like you have to have a diverse cast now, right? So yeah, it's wild, man. Yes, he reiterated very much so. I think most critics, if most critics knew how much it hurt people that made the things that they are writing about, they could second guess the way that they are writing these things. So here's the thing. A lot of these people who are making these things are like pretty sure my age, millennial age, people in their mid 30s, maybe even earlier. A lot of them are the type of people who grew up getting participation trophies, right? You get a reward just because you participated, right? And I think that's what, that's what a lot of these people who are in these position of power, they just like, okay, let's go ahead and not criticize or give constructive criticism to a specific art pieces because you might hurt their feelings. I remember in college, we brought in a guest speaker who was like a really, really good concept artist. And he was going around reviewing people's work. And then he stopped by this guy's desk and he sort of like, he basically outright said, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, I don't know what you're drawing. The thing is that I'm trying to see, like, if you're trying to make a snake, make a snake. If you're trying to do this, be deliberate about it. Like, because if I were you, I would have done this and this and this. But like what you did, like, I don't know what it is. You got to make sure if you're trying to do a design, the design sticks to landing and you're not sort of teetering between two different designs. You want to make sure that you are deliberate. And then after, like, he gave like a lot of people very harsh constructive criticism, but it's like much needed so they can become a better artist. When he left, people were like, that guy was mean. He made fun of my art. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, he was trying to help you. And that's basically what these people can't handle these critiques anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So,
actually, in my opinion, I appreciate those kinds of things. Examples like if you're applying for a job, it's like if you're HR, you just tell them outright, okay, you're not qualified for the job, or if even better, you specify why if you have the time. It's like, because if you leave them hanging, it's like they'll never know what happened or they'll never be able to improve. So you should be grateful for those kind of feedbacks. Like, here's what you can improve on. Here's what I think you did wrong. It's like that's those are words of wisdom that you can make yourself better in the future.
Yeah. Like, imagine if like you're working on a job and then like you didn't get like that mom or that person who are like, oh, you make sure you need to go to these piano classes every single day. You got to go and you got to play and you got to make sure you're doing good. And the person that's like sort of like hounding you and like telling you keep doing it. And it might sound like, oh, you're doing this incorrectly. You're doing this incorrectly. And then you see, 20 years from now, like you're a professional pianist and you're playing at the, LA Philharmonic in front of thousands of people and you're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars because you're like the world famous pianist. You would go back and like, I really, really appreciate this person that gave me this critique, because if they didn't push me and if they didn't tell me what I was doing wrong, I wouldn't have got to where I am.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So like this goes for this goes for anything. Right. And it's critique over anything. And the thing is that they're not shitting on you. They're shitting on why it sucks. And if you were to actually read why it sucks, maybe when you're coming out with something different or something new, you read those like, oh yeah, I remember they didn't like this, so I'm gonna make sure that I do this. And if you're gonna continue putting out shit, you're gonna get shit, So it's nutty.
Yeah.
It's devastating, he added. I know people who will never recover from it. Honestly, years, decades of being hurt. It's very personal. It's very devastating. And when you're being institutionally told that your personal expression was bad, that is like devastating and something that people carry with them literally their entire lives. And I get why. It fucking sucks. Right? Yeah. Green Hornet sucked. If you're talking about Green Hornet, the reboot, it sucked. No one likes Jay Chow. He's terrible.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. That's rubbing me the wrong way. It's like, yes, people thought it sucks, but use it as a means to improve. Like I said earlier, it's like this is a wake up call. This is what you can do better. Then when you release something that's better in the future, you could say that it's because people said this sucks. So I know how to make better content now. That's how you should be taking it. So not carry it for the rest of your lives with regrets. Like I don't buy that.
Yeah,
I don't buy that.
That's the reason why, like I, like I said, it's been used so much. But these people who are working in the industry right now, majority of them are snowflakes. It's like, oh no, like, oh, they said my stuff is bad. I can't work anymore. Like, I have trauma. I need to take like 30 days off because I need to heal from this trauma. It's like, dude, grow the fuck up. In light of their broaching the topic of bad reviews, Bartlett then turned to inquire with Rogan as to how he specifically dealt with the fallout when his projects flopped. To this end, he specifically asked the actors thoughts on regarding the reaction to 2011's widely panned Green Hornet film, which both starred and was written by Seth Rogen. And reviews that were coming out, it was pretty bad, and people just kind of like hated it. He recalled. Yeah, the thing is that from what I can recall, Bruce Lee played the Asian part in the original one. Okay. Right, so you already have Bruce Lee, and you're getting swapping that out for Jay Chow, right? In America, nobody really know who Jay Chow is, right? So I think people probably know him the most in when he did the live action adaptation of Initial D, which sucks. And the thing is that he's from China, so and then I remember watching this. I'm like, this is sort of stupid. Like I it's sort of dumb, and I didn't like it. And I watched this as like, how old was I? 2011. God, I was like, what, 20, maybe like 20, like mid 20s then. Like, I don't know. And the thing is that like not Joe Rogan, Seth Rogen is very good at his like his comedy stuff, right? It's sort of like I think This Is the End. I believe he was in Knocked Up, right? And he was in all these other stuff that was good. But the thing is that just because like he wrote and starred in it and probably directed it, and it's just like, oh man, then learn from it. Yeah. Right? You got to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
It seemed like a thing that people were just taking joy in disliking a lot. You know what I mean? But it opened to like 35 million, which I think at the time was the biggest opening weekend that I have ever associated with in any capacity. So it did pretty well. And he then noted that's what's nice sometimes. You can grasp for some sense of success at times. Honestly, think that the interview were more painful as far as people are taking joy into talking shit about it, and they're really kind of questioning people's types who want to make a movie like that in general. The actor felt more personal. But here's the thing, though. The interview was not really that great.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay.
Like, the only thing that I remember from the interview was they hate us because they anus. Right? That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, the fat kid. They were trying to rig. They were trying to make it. We're prosperous, so because we have a fat kid. Anyway, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. I think Green Hornet felt like I just had just fallen to victim, which is true, but a big fancy thing, like a superhero film. We were also ahead of the curve a little too much with some degree. We were early on that wave. So I think that is easier to deal with in a lot of ways, because it was not so much of a creative failure in our parts, but more of a conceptual failure. However, rather than holding on to these criticisms and allowing them to mutate into grudges and outright anger, Rogan ultimately affirmed that his solution was dealing with negativity is just to keep on keeping on. I think the interview, people more treated us like we had creatively failed, which sucked. Much worse. That's what happened at a few times. And again, I'm not going to act like it's that bad. On the grand scale of things in life, it's not that bad, right? And I've gotten much better at dealing with this as well. I think I was younger, and I really did not have much perspective as I do now, and do not carry it with me as much as I used to, right? And then of course talking about this thing is coming out in August, but yeah, you're gonna get a lot of creative backlash over this. I think there are gonna be people who are gonna be like, oh, the reason why you don't like April O'Neil because she's she's black and you're racist. But I don't think that's the case. I think she's not attractive. Like, she's not, when I say attractive, I'm talking about like attractive to the eyes and not, pleasing to the eyes. Like, she sort of looks very stumpy character. Like, you can make a character look cute and cuddly or whatever, like you make, like the turtles look pretty good. But if you change up her design, I think a lot of people would probably feel a lot better. I don't know, man. But TMNT is I'm not sure if you go back to watch like the old movies, it will be as good or it will hold up. Like, I'm not sure if you'll like it. Like, I'm not sure if it actually holds up anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and continue. Let's go and read some of these comments. Let's see. Maybe Seth should second guess the way he writes things. Yeah, he should. I think so. Let's go ahead and bring this one up. Seth didn't learn anything from Santa's Inc. Failure. Yeah, Santa Inc. I think that was like
I didn't
HBO.
watch that, but I didn't watch it, but I know it's been a really huge flop.
Yeah. I think it was the one with I think Sarah Silverman was also playing as the elf or something like that.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism is a good thing. Absolutely. Yeah, the Green Hornet television show was a spin-off on the 1966 Batman show. Yeah, it sort of was, right? Because I think the only reason why people liked it is because like it was different and it was similar to that, but they also had Bruce Lee before he passed away. So yeah. Let's see. I've gotten much better at dealing with this. Probably means better at ignoring it. Yeah, I think there's one thing into like, oh, I gotten much better at dealing with critiques, or I've gotten much better at ignoring them, right? And I think a lot of these people, they don't care about critiques. Like, a lot of people, because within their inner circle, they're going to be like, oh, they're all going to say these things.
And
they're all
and also I think they don't know how to differentiate constructive criticism from just being a toxic feedback. You also need to learn how to differentiate the two, so you know which one to ignore and which one to take for personal improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. See, it depends on the if the receiver of the criticism listens and decides to make improvements that were recommended. Yeah, right. I think that's where a lot of creatives comes from. Like, whenever you're creative, either in music or whatever, right? It's like, hey, I think if you did this, it would have been better. Or if you're a singer, hey, I think if you tried this, it would have been better. I think it'll sound better. And then you're like, okay, and then you don't do any of that. And then if your shit sucks, then it's going to suck. And that's why a lot of singers, like when they first start out, they have music coaches. And that's why a lot of artists, they have mentors. And same thing with singers and writers and all that stuff. People actually need to learn how to constructively criticize someone. And it's not, it's like, oh, I'm just saying, hey, your stuff sucks. And that's it. It's like, hey, the reason why I think your stuff sucks is because of this. And he's like, okay, how can I make that better in my next film? How can I make my music better? Right. Remember, April isn't supposed to be easy on the eyes. True, right? You're supposed to be disgusted with her. I don't know. Like, I never found April O'Neil characters to be like attractive until I sort of like saw April O'Neil's original designs and like the OG cartoons, and like, oh, okay.
I'm just basing it on, I think, Melanie Mack's thumbnail. I think she put the old one. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, she looks a lot better there.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, there should be beauty and adorableness standards for movies. Yeah. The thing is that like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sells figures. They sell toys. No one's gonna buy the April O'Neil toy ever. I'm not sure they're even if they're even gonna make one. Like, the thing is that you're trying to sell toys here, right? And that's the reason why. Like, I remember speaking about selling toys and speaking about that. One of my teachers, when I went to art school, his name, I forgot his I think his name was like Puya or something like that. Yeah, Puya. And he's like a very abstract artist, right? And he taught us like how to he was my teacher for live art, like live drawing and drawing nude people and stuff like that, which is the only reason why I attended class, because hopefully the nude person was a female. But he said that he's friends with Owen Wilson, like the actor, right? So he was like, so one day Owen Wilson calls him up and he's like, hey man, so I got this job and from Disney. And he's like, oh, Disney, that's really, really good, because what's it called again? My teacher, he worked on Finding Nemo. So he's like, I think he was a visual development for Finding Nemo. And he's like, yeah, so since you used to work for Disney, I'm just wondering, how was it working with them? And it's like, it's good. And it's like, so they're making this movie called Cars, and they want me to voice this character called Lightning McQueen. He's like, oh, what's the movie about? It's about these cars that are actually alive. But, you know, like, the characters look pretty cool. But like, I don't know if I should do it. And they're like, he basically told him, you should do it is because you're not, like, whether or not you like the story or not, they're going to sell merchandise. That's all it's for. You're going to sell merchandise, you're going to get a shit ton of money, and you're going to get a lot of revenue for it. And then he's like, all right, you know, like, I think that the toys look pretty cute, but imagine if the toys look ugly. None of the cars would have sold. None of, like, Lightning McQueen, what Mater, you know, Tow Mater have never been sold. And it would not, the movie would have made like a part 2, part 3, part 4, and all that shit. So first and foremost, you got to make the characters look cool for kids to buy it. And the thing is that no one's gonna buy April. I don't know. It's that simple, right? As a kid, you know, like Grae, when you're young, you go to the toy store or something like that. I want that, and then like you want something cool looking. If it's something that's disgustingly ugly, and you're like, I'm not even gonna.
I don't want that. Yeah.
Let's see. I go to the mindset every day that I'm writing music, learning to draw, writing my story, even in the daily life. How can I improve? Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And as a creative of any type, okay, not just art, but like music, right? You're always trying to be better. You're always trying to get better, because you're always comparing yourself like to the next artist that's better than you, because there's always going to be a way to improve. And the thing is that he's not learning how to improve just based on, oh, I'm just gonna shrug it off, you know, I'm just gonna go smoke weed and stuff. I don't know. That's how I feel.
Literally, this channel would have existed if me and Phil wouldn't have taken upon ourselves to try to improve our content. Like, remember, Phil, it wasn't our idea to start this podcast. It was from Cody, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, have you tried doing a podcast? Like, I thought to myself, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It's like, then I chatted, hey Phil, you want to try to do that podcast? Like, boom, here we are today. It's like, it wouldn't have existed if we didn't take feedback and try to work on it. So yeah, if you want evidence on how, if constructive criticism works, it works. I mean, this channel wouldn't have existed without it. Yeah,
exactly. You learn from criticism. Yeah, learning from criticism, learning from failure, then winning. Yeah, exactly. See. Somehow today, female beauty equals objectification. Body shaming is the non-beautiful, unrealistic body image, and then harming women. Yeah, exactly. It's hard, you know, like, you can't have a person too beautiful anymore, because those people don't exist. You know, Victoria's Secret models are not real; they're fake, right? And if you go to the beaches and you see, like, you know, like those you know, you go online, you watch porn or whatever, those people are fake. All right. Those are all AI generated. Those are all AI generated. All right, chat. All right. And the thing is that, you know, just calling it, you know, this might sound weird, but Grae, imagine if like you're working out and then you're like, oh, I feel like I'm getting bigger, and then you go into work, and then the guy's like, hey Grae, have you been working out? Your arms look sort of big. Yeah. He's like, man, you're looking good today. You're like, yeah, you've been working out. He's like, yeah, I've been pumping iron and stuff like that. I've been looking good. You're like, yeah, man, you're looking great. Continue at it. Imagine if a girl, you say that to a girl, it's like, hey, Samantha, you've been working out. Yeah, you look great. Your legs look toned. Boom, HR fired, right? And it's just like, it's a double standard thing. You can't positively give a person like good feedback anymore, or it's because of the way how society is, right? And me saying that she looks ugly, it's like, oh, you just don't like her because you're racist, right? You're body shaming her and stuff like that, right? Yeah. You remember having those metal car collections? Yeah, true. It's so simple, but Hollywood will never understand. People just don't like ugly shit. Yeah. Like I remember I had like a big debate talking to a person on Twitter about She-Ra, the reboot that was on Netflix. And people online, I think it was Anna, that Star Wars girl. She's the one who posted it. She's like, look at all these designs, they suck. Look at all the old designs, they're way better. That's why they sold better as toys. And then this person's like, oh, you're just bigoted. It's like you don't understand. And it's characters don't need to look pretty. It's just because you want them to have big boobs or big ass. It's like, how dare you sexualize these characters? And then I basically talked to that person. I think she's a female. And I'm like, as an artist, a lot of these people want to sell toys. They want to sell merchandise and stuff like that. And the things that if these characters are not appealing, people won't buy them. I'm not talking about the story or anything like that. I'm just talking about the characters' appealness, how they appeal to people.
Design, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, if these characters look like trash, people won't buy it. It's just, that's plain and simple. You got to look at it that way, right? Hollywood fails upward. Absolutely. I think a lot of stuff that Hollywood's coming out with, they don't really freaking care. Yeah. Let's see. At my art class, I got stuck drawing a 60-year-old 450-pound woman. So my speaking of that, my first art class that had life drawing, I was drawing like a 50, 60-year-old like overweight guy. But you gotta stick it, you gotta hang in there. You gotta hang in there, because 2 weeks later there was this smoking hot woman comes in with like tiggle bitties. Like she has an hourglass body and she's like French. I'm like, well, there you go. You got to wait. You got to wait. The goal's to wait. You get rewarded. Okay, patience is a virtue, and you get rewarded. Oh man. Let's see. We need to find a new small part of the story from a franchise or make a new one altogether. Yeah, I think most of the stuff is people are just like I said, people like easy handoffs. They don't like hard things anymore. If it's too hard, they won't do it. Writing a new story is hard. Coming up with actual good storytelling is hard. So what a lot of these people are doing in the industry, they're like, hey, what's something that people really, really like that we can bring back? People really, really like Beast Wars. Let's bring those Beast Wars back into this new Transformers movie. Right? Okay, let's do that. Oh, people really, really like what's it called again? Hercules. So we're gonna do that live action. We're gonna do Lilo and Stitch live action. Every Disney movie is gonna have a live action adaptation, right? It doesn't matter. And then later on, 20 years from now, it's gonna do a reboot of the original live action adaptation. So Mulan will get another reboot later on, and that's what's gonna happen, because people do not know how to write anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. Let's see. Traditional masculinity and femininity isn't allowed anymore. Yeah. Especially in Western culture. Like look what they did with what's it called again? Victoria's Secret was a beauty show, the Victoria's Secret show, right? They will come out, beautiful women will be coming out, looking wearing the bras and like the panties, and they have like the giant wings, because it's called considered angels. They have to cancel that because they're like, oh, you're sexualizing women. You're doing all that kind of stuff. And then what's it called again? I believe they canceled. I'm not sure if they canceled it, but like there's a bunch of stuff like they can't show that anymore. It's because you're showing an unbelievable hard standard of like the male gaze. Not everyone can look buff. Not everyone can look hot and sexy. I'm like, but there are people out there. And the thing is that if I'm going to buy, like, let's say if I'm going to go to Target or Walmart and I'm going to buy boxers, most likely I don't really care what I'm buying as long as it fits me and it's the type of material that I like. But if you are going to buy something and you see like an extremely overweight 700-pound man wearing boxers, you're like, I'm not going to buy this, right? It's like, which one is more appealing to you towards the eyes? It sucks. A lot of people like to look pretty and they're more attracted to more appealing things. It's just that's how the way it is. You know, if you're marketing, you want money, that's what you do. But Grae, do you feel the same like with that? Like, like if you go buy something, would you buy something that like, oh, I want to buy that jacket because that person who's wearing it is extremely fat and I want that jacket?
Yeah, exactly. No, not really. You want to buy something that makes you feel good or more confident, for sure. So yeah, you want it. It's really a matter of appealing to people. It's like more than there are platforms for you to advocate for those kinds of virtues, like not making fun of people or appreciating who you are, but do not try to push it to in everywhere, especially in our entertainment platforms or products. It's never gonna end well.
Yeah. So Phil goes to work like, nice ass, bro. You yo, you know it, man. He's like, yo, dude, man. Yo. Okay. So speaking of all seriousness, right? I remember one time, I was working at Disney Interactive. I'm like, it's just sometimes you just look around, you look at people, you know, you look at what people are wearing and stuff like that. Like for me, I'm very like attentive like that. I'm very like detail oriented. I swear to God, there was this guy. He's a regular looking guy, but he had his ass was like a female's ass. It was like so plump and perky. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Dude, like, does he do squats or something? Like his ass looks like a girl's ass. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, good thing you don't wear tight pants. Like he wear baggy pants. But you can see that shit through his baggy pants. Okay, no homo. Okay? I'm not gay. I have relationships with men and sex with women. I got news for you.
Yeah, where did that come from? Is that really a movie?
I believe it's a TV show. I forgot what show it's from. But yeah, I always
probably
see, like,
knows.
Friday Night Tights and like
they play that all the time.
I got news for you. That means you're gay.
You're gay.
Sorry. Let's see. If I want to see average looking people, I'll check out a mirror or a Walmart. Yes, right. When you go buy these things, you want to see like, hey, this is what you could potentially look like if you were, you know, buff or if you were fit or whatever. And you know, like I have no ill will for people. Like if like you can go to like, you know, Lane Bryant or just like a place that you buy like women's clothes that are people who are bigger. That's fine. You know, there are people who are averagely bigger, but if you're going to show a bunch of these fashion models, Sports Illustrated magazines and stuff like that, don't just show all the heavy people. You want to show a spectrum of them. There are skinny people, there are people who are sort of fat, and there's people who are a little overweight, and that's fine. Let's see. It's challenging. Yeah, not only that, but busy. But the industry steals from other people. I know Chris Gore explaining about how people how important it is to copyright your work before you show it off to someone. Yeah. So that definitely is true. It's because I remember in there was a I guess there was a short that was done, and I believe this person was like a Disney intern, right? I think she or he was an intern, and then she worked on this thing where it's like a carrot but instead of it was I think a bunny fighting against a reindeer in the snow, and they're fighting over a carrot, right? And then this was released back in 2010, and in 2012, 2013, Frozen came out, and then all of a sudden you see the exact sort of style, the exact style of animation, but the bunnies were replaced with Olaf and a reindeer. So I'm like, what the hell? So what happened was that person tried to sue Disney because they used her short and made it without, basically, because it was her own short. She didn't sell it to Disney. However, she was working at Disney at the time as an intern. And when you sign an agreement with these big corporations, whenever you are there, anything you do, anything you create is Disney property. And I guess someone saw her stuff and they used it. They're like, let's create this exact scene with our characters. So she lost the settlement. And of course, eventually she got fired. Is because you signed the NDA, you signed the agreement, the terms, the TOS, right? So you sign all that stuff. So it's definitely very, very, very hard. So that's why, like, if you were to do something, that's why a lot of these artists, they prefer to be freelance, is because they can work on multiple projects without having to be beholden to one company's sort of
Yeah,
stealing their shit.
as someone who started doing freelance, I could relate to that. You
Yeah.
interact with really various different clients for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, and I'm a binary transformer pushing agenda, not trying to tell a good story. Yeah, did you see this? It was like I saw it on Twitter. I guess it was like the new Transformer show or something like that, and I guess like one of the robot was talking to like this girl, and he's like, "Oh, I'm non-binary," and then the one of the Transformers like, "What is that?" Oh, that means that I don't identify as a he or she or something like that. And then the robot's like, "Huh, I like that." I'm like, "Oh no, dude." Oh no. And you know Transformers stuff sells, so like of course they're trying to push that stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Just make something new, unique or new at least part of the franchise that has never been made before. Yeah, I think Grae, you mentioned about that, right? Like the vast universe of Star Wars. There's so much things that you can tackle, but you keep tackling these things that's already been told. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is from Jonah Hex. Bill Burr did a joke about how sneaky ugly women successfully got rid of attractive. Oh my god, that is so true, dude. That is so fucking true, man.
Yeah, it is.
My god. Yeah, it's like, you know what? There's too many hot women in this in this industry. I'm gonna get rid of them. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got news for you. Yeah. Let's see. Bro, too late. Oh no, I'm not gay, all right? I'm not gay. Yo. Oh yeah. Yeah, he must work out. Yeah. Grae, did you watch Dumb and Dumber, like the old one with Jim Carrey?
Not the movie. Some of the cartoons, but not the movie. Some of the cartoons.
So what happens was was Dumb and Dumber made into a cartoon? I don't remember. But so what happened was that was I think Lloyd and Harry finally made it to Aspen to return a briefcase to a girl, right? Like they basically went a round trip. I think they're from like New Jersey or something. They took a round trip, not round trip. They basically went cross country all the way to Aspen, Colorado, which is a very, very expensive, fancy area, right? And then once they got there, I think Harry, which he's the dumb, and Lloyd, which is Jim Carrey's character, he's dumber. He turns around and goes, "Whoa, look at the buns on that whole hound or whole bag or whatever," right? And then Jim Carrey goes, "He must work out," but he's talking about the girl, but Jim Carrey is talking about the guy. It's funny. You need. I think Dumb and Dumber still holds up. I think you should watch it if you get a chance. It's still pretty funny. You should have said no homo before you started that story. Oh god, dude. Oh god. That means you're I got news for you. That means you're gay. It's a crime show. Yeah. That reminds me of Az and his love for boobs on men. Yeah, it's boobs on men. Isn't there like
I think this I think this is pertaining to one of the actresses in She-Hulk. There was this I think that's what this comment is pertaining to. It's like I was laughing at that too, because like there's an actress in She-Hulk, as mentioned, like she has a nice rack. Then another one in the later on in another stream, another content creator said, "Did you guys know that this girl is trans?" And Az was like, "Oh no." I think that's the one. I think kind of.
Oh
funny.
no. Okay. Speaking of being gay, right? That means you're gay. What's it called again? Every year over here in West Hollywood, in California, Southern California over here, they have this thing called the Halloween Carnival. And West Hollywood, if you don't know, is like gay capital in LA area. There's a lot of gay people who live there. And during Halloween Carnival, there's like 2 to 3 blocks that's like closed off, and like literally hundreds of thousands of people come in from all over the world to dress up in Halloween costumes or like anything, right? So what happened was I went there with my ex, and then I was like looking around, and then of course like there are people who are like scantily clad, they're dressed like very like skimpy like, and then I saw this person, and they're wearing one of those like giant like Rio has the Carnival, which is like it's like a really big parade celebration, and they're dressing like peacock feathers everywhere, but they're dressing like they're wearing like underwear, right? So I see this person. I saw the back. I'm like, oh, that person has a nice ass. Like I said, she has a nice ass. And then my ex turns. He's like, oh, okay. And then he turns around. And then he has a beard. And then my ex looks at me. He's like, you're gay, dude. Oh man, dude, I was so fucking embarrassed, dude. I was like, oh man, damn it, dude. But yeah. Anyways, let's see. That is such an insane contract, very similar to the Daily Wire contract with Crowder. Yeah, basically, you own anything that you work on. It's owned by the company, and that's a lot of these companies are like that, though. It's like anything you work on, like you belong to them, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Any contract is a slippery slope. Yeah, all robots are binary, and the ones on all the ones and zeros. True. Transformers are technically binary, right? Yeah. Most likely. Yeah, West Hollywood. Yeah, see, West Hollywood, gay. I need like a clip of Ken Jeong in Community. Like, there's always a meme of him. He goes, gay. Let's see. That's gotta be a on Watch People Die Inside video. Yeah, man. It's yeah, there's nude guys walking the streets there. Same for Folsom Fair in San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco is pretty wild, man. I haven't gone back up to San Francisco in such a long time. I heard there's like literally like needles and like shit all over the ground in San Francisco. I heard there's actually like a poop app where it's like, hey, in 2 kilometers up ahead on the right, there's gonna be a piece of poop on the ground. Be careful.
Well, it wasn't that bad that we were there last year. Maybe we were just in a good side of the city, but yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Phil caught lacking again. Oh, jeez, just came out of the closet. Oh man, you're not helping your case. Quiet. God. All right. Yeah. But yeah, Community. Yeah, Community is good. Yeah. If you haven't watched it, I believe it's on Netflix. Yeah, Community.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, in the final parts, it was kind of so already. But yeah, the first few seasons was pretty good.
Yeah, I think ever since I think it's what, Danny Glover. Yeah, ever since his character left the show, that's when a lot of things started, like, because everyone started leaving afterwards, right? And then you sort of have like the core people. Chevy Chase left, and then you get Abed. He leaves too. And it's like, oh, then where are the other characters? And then so it wasn't that good at the end.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna read this last one. Okay, some streets in San Francisco are bad, but they try to keep the tourist areas and the wealthy area. Yeah. I would say if you go to like really bad areas of what's it called again? Like even LA, like this, like we actually have this place called Skid Row. It's like literally like 2-3 blocks away from Little Tokyo. Like you can actually walk there. It's that close, and it's literally an entire street full of homeless people. And they're literally like shitting on the ground or like having sex with each other, like out in the open. It's like crazy. Chevy's character died. That shit was so funny. Yeah, it's the thing is that like that show, I didn't watch that show until like maybe like 5 years ago, like 4 years ago. That's when I really started watching.
Me around 3 to 4.
Yeah, it's good. I didn't watch it when it was live. My brother kept watching it.
Yeah, I watched it late too. I watched that late.
Yeah, but if you haven't watched it, also watch The Office too. If you like cringe stuff, like super cringy shit, you watch The Office. The Office is good because you can't make that shit anymore. It's like they Michael Scott's character, like he comes off so like bigoted and racist. It's so funny. Like, and he doesn't he doesn't intend to do that. It's just that's his character. But I see the first season will turn people off. It tries to be normal. Yeah. I would say I started watching. I think the first season was okay. I think like my brother showed me like the paintball episode, and that's when I like, okay, I want to watch this now. Like it looks pretty fun. But all right, cool, man. That was a good. It's sad. Let's see. One more. Let's see. It's sad that the Skid Row is still a thing. What are them doing to help? I think they basically took I don't know, millions of dollars out of the tax reserves, and they basically built like $30,000 small home community, like little tiny homes for the homeless people to live in, but they don't even live there. Excuse me. They don't even freaking live there, man. Let's see. What's this? 10 shorts and 5 videos. Guys, comments. Yeah, Jay's a book 1 to 10. What's this? Yo, hey, yo, what's going on, Captain? How's it going, dude? But yeah, also, by the way, I have another Alex Jones montage clip I shared in the Snake Pit. If you ever need the link, I will send it to you. Cool. Yo, Alex Jones is wild, man. Hearing do you know who Alex Jones is, Grae?
I don't know his political position, but I've seen some videos of him. It's actually, yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry. So I accidentally clicked you off. But you said that you don't know his political position, but you've seen some videos of him.
Yeah, I've seen this because I was watching Asmongold videos about him. I found this video with Alex Jones and Piers Morgan. That was actually funny. Him debating with Piers Morgan, stuff like that. Yeah.
And the thing is that so Alex Jones, he's like a conspiracy theorist person, and most of his conspiracy theories actually like come into fruition. It actually happens. Right? They're like one of them, the most craziest one. He's like, "Oh man, this factory over there, what they're doing is actually putting these chemicals, turning the frogs gay." Right? And they're like, "What? What the fuck are you talking about?" Right? So what happened was that he's technically correct. So there's this factory that leaks this like chemical that goes down to the stream that where a lot of frogs are located. And the thing is that there are a lot, frogs are like asexual, right? They can go from male to female gender at will. So what happened was that it was these chemicals were stopping a lot of the turning a lot of the I forgot what the actual thing was. It was basically making a lot of the frogs like behave in a way where they all turn to males. So they're like, "Oh, technically he's not incorrect," right? Technically he's not wrong, right? And he also talked about this thing called Bohemian Grove, which is wild. And he was on Joe Rogan when he was talking about it. And it's basically these rich celebrities and politician types all meet in the woods and like strip naked and like have crazy ass sex orgies with one another. It's like, what? And then they have like an effigy of like an owl or something like that, and they sacrifice like a fake baby, like a wooden baby to the owl statue. And it's like, what the and like Alex Jones actually went to one of those things, and he infiltrated it because he said that, when I was young, I was handsome, so I was able to get into these groups, and they're like, "Oh man, you look so good. What are you doing here?" And so how they stop people from sort of like talking about it is like, "Hey, if you ever say anything, I'm going to tell people around the world that you were a part of this thing." Right. But like, so he actually went up to like a congressperson or a senator saying that, "Hey, I want to talk to you about Bohemian Grove." And he's like, he got all scared and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's wild, man. But the thing is that a lot of people don't like him is because like he says these crazy things that got a lot, he talked down on a lot of the Sandy Hook stuff, and that's really, really bad light. But he's crazy, man. He's fun. He's entertaining to watch. Like and that's the reason why like I'm sad like he's not on like he's banned from everywhere, of course. Like they don't like him.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got the best compilation clip at the moment. You gotta watch it, Grae. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Alex Jones on Rogan was funny. Yeah, definitely.
You can post it on Discord, Lost Tales, if you want.
Yeah, you can post it on Discord. Yeah, we'll check it out. Let's see. It's Bailey. What's gonna happen? Man? I grew up in a group of Knight Rider and MacGyver, and then recently saw that there was new shows, and those watched one episode and instantly turned it off. Yeah, they did try to do a reboot of Knight Rider and MacGyver, and they both were bad, according to what I know.
Yikes.
Yeah. I say they did that in the Boys TV show, by the way. Oh, I see. The Bohemian Grove in San Francisco, there's owls. Yeah, I've seen it from the outside. Yeah, it's wild, man. Super wild. Yeah, but anyways, hope you're doing good, Captain 45. But what's it called again? Yeah, we're gonna call it there. It was great having Jay on earlier. Mm-hmm. The fact that he took his like I said, he took his busy schedule coming on, knowing that he's gonna hop on over to Flashcast immediately after. The fact that he was, "Hey, let's come on to the show." It's wild. It's crazy, man. But thank you everyone, each and every one of you for popping in earlier. Yeah, we got up to like 75 viewers, and we got over 100 likes, which is crazy. Thank you guys so much.
Nuts.
Let's see. Jeremy is about to drink the fight milk in the other window. Oh shit! Yeah, I'll probably pop on over and check that out. It's funny is because I was actually on what's it called, on Camelcast last week with Jay, and I actually donated like $20 to make sure like he did the fight milk with Camelot. That's actually pretty cool. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Go ahead and follow the channels, all that stuff. Grae, you want to shout anything out?
Yeah. So I'm currently streaming Stranger of Paradise in my Twitch, and yeah, I'll be making a video of that on my YouTube soon. Oh, not soon, but once I finish the game. And yeah, I might stream at the Eggroll channel later. I'm thinking of streaming like Halo 5, which is like the worst Halo game. So that should be it should be fun. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I'm also working on a Eggroll Gaming YouTube channel, but I'm still working on it. It'll go live when the first video comes up. So yeah, looking forward to that.
And y'all can follow all of my stuff. It should be down in the description below, just like Mr. Phillip Chan. Mostly everywhere. You should be able to find me. And thank you guys so much again. I really appreciate it. And also, we will be back next week. We're probably going to be talking more about the stuff that we missed, like Mandalorian. We'll see if we actually want to continue watching it. It's sort of boring, right? But we will be talking about The Last of Us, the season finale of Last of Us, and Last of Us, both the episodes that we haven't talked about. And I believe you said Gotham Knights is going to be starting soon, so we might watch that, right?
Yeah. If it sucks, but anyway, I'll power through it.
But anyways, chat, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate each and every one of you. This is crazy. Probably the most viewed stream that we had. Jay is amazing. If you guys haven't already done so, go ahead and check out Jay's Indiegogo campaign. I believe he's almost at 57 or 58,000. And hopefully, I believe we have 9 days left before the Indiegogo campaign is gone. But anyways, chat, thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next Saturday with more Eggroll podcast. Take care.
See ya.